Moin, da bin ich wieder. Das ist Montreal. Mein Name ist Niko und ich bin hier wieder zu Besuch bei einem Musikfestival. Montreal findet jedes Jahr statt. Ich war letztes Jahr schon hier und wer Bock hat zu erleben, was ich letztes Jahr erlebt habe, der könnte hier oder wie er das immer macht oder darunter nochmal nachschauen, wie mein Bericht letztes Jahr war. Denn ich bin hier auf Einladung unterwegs gewesen von Factory 92, die mich immer mal auf solche Sachen schicken, damit ich mal gucken kann, was in anderen Ländern denn so musikalisch, aus meinem Blickwinkel natürlich Hip-Hop musikalisch, so los ist. Das habe ich letztes Jahr gemacht und das war schon sehr spannend. Ich habe echt spannende Künstler und Künstlerinnen letztes Jahr kennengelernt. Das mache ich dieses Jahr nochmal. Neue Gesichter, wieder Teil des Festivals, aber dieses Mal fahren wir noch einen Schritt weiter, denn ich habe letztes Mal auch gemerkt, dass natürlich Montreal eine wunderbare große Stadt ist, sehr kulturell, sehr viel Graffiti hier gibt. Und deswegen möchte ich mich auch noch mit Menschen unterhalten, die noch ein kleines bisschen mehr über die Struktur und vielleicht die Idee von Hip-Hop in dieser Stadt mir erzählen können. Das Ganze mache ich hier auf dieser Reise. Und wenn ihr bis hierhin zugehört habt und jetzt dabei seid auf meiner Reise, dann freue ich mich sehr. Denn ich muss ehrlich sagen, es ist jedes Mal für mich schon so eine Herzenssache, wo ich auch immer hinfahre, mit einem wirklichen Hip-Hop-Aspekt international zu gucken, was geht da eigentlich. Und genau das machen wir hier bei Montreal dieses Jahr wieder genau in diesem Stil. Deswegen vielen Dank für die Einladung, dass ich hier sein darf und euch jetzt viel Spaß auf meiner Reise hier durch Montreal auf den Spuren von Hip-Hop. Den Anfang macht heute mein Interview mit Vendou. Vendou ist ein Künstler aus Montreal, der gar nicht so lange dabei ist. Nach meinen Recherchen 2019 die Solokarriere erst gestartet hat, nachdem er vorher in einem Kollektiv hier lokal in der Stadt schon unterwegs war. Und der jetzt natürlich auch ein bisschen mit dem Motor dieses Festivals hier die Karriere so richtig in Gang bringen will. Er macht so Musik, die ein bisschen poppiger ist, Einflüsse aus Indie, also sehr interessant, sehr leicht, bekömmlich, aber ich möchte halt wissen, wer er ist, was für Musik er da macht und wo er damit hin will. First of all, thank you for your time.
My pleasure.
You're from Montreal, right?
Yes.
Can you tell me about your history? You were born and raised in this area here?
Not in this area, more like east and more like uptown. This is really, we're downtown right now. This is Main Street and this is the other Main Street like S-West and South-North. So I'm more like from the east, a neighborhood called Rosemont, Petite Patrie. It's like mid class. Yeah. Like a kind of friendly neighborhood with like lots of like parks and trees, and it's a nice place to grow.
And how you started doing music? What was the reason for this?
I think it was to express myself at the beginning, and you know I was kind of lost like in my teenage year, like finishing school. Then I was like, what I'm doing now. And you know, I grew up listening to music. I saw Wu-Tang Clan was there.
Yeah, in Club Soda?
Yeah, when I was like 16, and you know, growing listening to I Am and to like lots of rapper from France and from United States, and you know, I get like the taste for it because my friend were doing it too, and we just started writing. Like at the beginning, it was just for fun. Then we grow with that, and we grow like as human being too, and as artists. And yeah, it was just like passing time and expressing myself.
You started with a crew here, right?
Yep.
Was it more a local crew? Or?
It was local, yeah. We were like, well, there was a big crew with small crew in it.
Oh, okay.
So we were like, I don't know, 25.
Yeah.
Like a beat maker, videographer, rapper, street artist. And
so a real hip hop thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, real. Like we were like, and we made 2 albums during the COVID pandemic. So it's like I don't know, 30 songs, and we were like 20 rapper on it, and it's really like it's a real hip hop thing, and it starts like that. I think it starts with like the being with your friend and like expressing yourself with them and just growing, as I said. And I was in the group called L'Amalgame. And through that, I start my solo career because I was like more ambitious, I think, than some of them.
Yeah, I've learned that there was. It's interesting. It was a support of a tour that brought you to the idea to make it even more professional. You were supporting somebody. Is it right?
I was supporting. I was supporting. You mean touring with someone?
Tour supporting.
Yes, with Fouki, who was a big artist here in Quebec and Montreal. Like one of the most listened artists on Spotify, like in the whole province. He's a rapper. It's Fouki, and we grew together. We were playing hockey together as we were young, and just out of the blue, he got like one song that got super huge. He signed on a label and he started touring, and I was his close friend, so he said to me, "Do you want to tour with me?" So I was the hype man for like 3 years on tour, and I was also opening act.
Okay, and that's of course could be something that gives you the idea of, okay, I have to start my career.
Yeah, but I think about it. I was like, okay, I have an opportunity. I'm gonna have lots of visibility. So at the same time, I launched my first EP. As a solo artist, like to just to be like marketing wise and business wise, and like get something going, because it's kind of hard here. It's like small population and it's close from the United States, so it's really Americanized, and like it's hard to make the local culture grow between all of this. So I just took the opportunity to go ahead.
Can you tell me something about the hip-hop scene here in Montreal, and rap scene maybe also? Would you describe it as a big scene?
It's getting big.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, it's getting really big, and like in the last, I don't know, 5 or 6 years, it's just like getting bigger and bigger, and like I think that young artists and artists in general see like it's possible to make a living out of it.
Oh, really? Yeah.
So like people get more and more involved, and something that was a dream became a reality.
Yeah, okay.
Somewhat. So I think it helps the scene grow, because like it's more professional. There's more visibility. There's more like coverage from like media and like festival. So I think the hip hop scene like took a big part of the cake in like the last 5 years. Yeah.
I mentioned also a lot of graffiti here in Little Portugal. It's the name of this neighborhood where we are.
Yeah.
So would you say even that the whole hip hop, the classical hip hop idea, like you said, you grew up with Wu-Tang and all that is also quite big, or even it's here in the city, or is it more a music and more industry part, the rap part?
No, I think the rap part is like the more up there, because it's like I think it goes also with like the trend and like the mainstream like upcoming of rap music, like in the last year everywhere in the world. It's like the most listened to musical genre. But there's lots of like big graffiti artists here in Montreal and graffiti crew. There's a guy named Monk.E. He's all over the world. I think he went like 12 times to Africa for like touring to do a mural, and
it's funny.
And there's the festival mural just up there. Every year we like receive lots of people from all over the world just painting like big portrait like on the street, and
it's fun. I'm gonna make an interview with Monk.E right after we talking. Yes. So it was a good decision to put him on my list.
Monk.E is a legend.
Okay, good.
Everybody.
Wir haben eine Legende dabei, Leute.
Everybody know him, and like for his rap and for his painting, and he's really like a community guy. It's like
awesome.
He's respecting everybody, and everybody respect him. Yeah. Shout out Monk.E.
Good to know. But coming back to you, and maybe to your music, can you describe what kind of rap music you're doing? Because I've learned it has a lot of influences, like a little more pop, a little more easily listening. But I'm sure you want to spread a message too. But can you describe your music?
So it's really it's sweet, and it's really lyrical, but at the same time it's really like you say, easy listening. So it's a mix between like good lyrics and good music, and it's really organic, because I'm working with a live band for my shows and in the studio too. So at the time there was more like producing and like beat making, but now it's really like songwriting more. And I'm really influenced by artists like Mike Miller. So that can blend genre. That can do like a jazz song and a big rap song, then like a emotional, like loving type beat, And I really like also artists from Europe, from Belgium, like Hamza, Damso, Nekfeu. I'm a big fan of Post Malone too, that can also blend genre and like do a lot of things. During one show it goes from there to there, and it's like it's not always the same song. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to be more like I'm coming from hip hop. That's how I grow, but I'm trying to get interest in like in everything that can make me a better musician and a better artist.
A better musician is the most important thing to that. We are in Montreal, and it's French-speaking district.
Yep.
But people can also speak English here. What was your decision to rap even in French or in English? And
I mean, French is my first language, and I like. I'm a lover of like the French language. I like to read book in French and like to educate myself, like have a nice vocabulary and put it in my song with like different words and different type of phrase. But I also put English because I'm grown in Montreal, and when you grow in Montreal, you don't speak French, or you speak Montreal.
So it's a mix.
Yeah, it's a mix for like English, French, Creole from the Haitian people, and there's a bit of like Arab for the Maghrebin people. There's like big community everywhere in Montreal. So when you go to school, you have all that mixed between your friends and everything. So you pick up really easily that Montreal slang, and at the end of the day, it's part of the culture and of like the way of speaking and expressing ourselves.
And how difficult is it to starting from this point here to make a bigger music career out of it? Would you say Montreal is a good spot for this?
I think it has its limitation because of the density of the population and like the language barrier.
Yeah.
You can go to France. There's some rapper here that start to go to France, like Loud and Roger. They have like a little fan base there. I think it's hard. You have to work. You have to work day in, day out. You can't take a year off. You have to always stay up there.
Releasing all the time.
Every year. EP or album or single or video clip or like. But I think with the trend now of like small video on TikTok and Instagram and the Ciel and everything, I think that's a nice way to go through like lots of content without putting like 3 years work on an album and releasing it, because I feel like you release something and people forget like 2 weeks after. Because there's so much thing coming out, and I think it's hard, but it's doable. And if you like it, I mean, that's the bottom line. You don't have to do it to get viral or to get a big career. You have to do it because it's your way of getting through the day and getting through your life and growing out of it. Yeah.
Two things in it. Of course, I'm coming from an age where we always were happy to have the album as a project, as a music thing, and now it's all about singles. But it's part of the day, so that's okay. And the second thing is even to be a musician and to try to make a career out of it. In an industry like this, is also, do you make it because of music or because of fame? What would you say? What is the most important thing? Why are you doing your stuff?
For me, it's music. I understand like the need to build a persona and to build like a character that people can identify to. But I think it has to come after the music, in my opinion. Maybe it's the wrong way to go. Maybe I should just go for like a
you're
easy
right.
stuff.
I know I'm right.
I know I'm right. Because like I say, at the end of the day, you don't do it for anybody else than you. And if you think otherwise, I mean, when you're at some point of your career where like you've accomplished all, what else? You don't want to be there. I always say that the dream is not the end. The dream is the way to it.
Yeah.
Because you have to enjoy everything, and like to be able to call music a career right now, I think it's a great privilege, and it's like I'm really grateful for it. and to be able just to wake up and to don't have a boss to answer to, and to don't have like a day job to answer to. I can just go in the studio, answer my email, work on a featuring, work on my project, turn a video for my Instagram or whatever. So I'm just grateful to have the opportunity of doing it, and I don't think that getting viral or getting rich or getting popular, it's like that's not the end of it.
Let's talk about M for Montreal.
Yep.
That's the reason why I'm here. Can you tell me something of your opinion to this festival in general, and what could it mean for your career?
I think it's really good for emerging artists, because it's a, I don't know how to say it in English, but it's a vitrine.
Yeah.
So like people from all over the world come to see shows, and also people from Quebec, everywhere in Quebec come to see new artists, to discover new artists. So it can be good to just like make yourself, to show yourself to the people that maybe don't know you, because I think it's the artist thing. It's like to get the visibility, because you can make music, you can put it out there, but you have to put it in the ear of the person that will like it and that will like follow you and everything. So I think a festival like that really help doing a part of it. It's not like, I don't think that like festival are like, oh, I'm going to a festival, I'm gonna get known after it. It's just like one more step in like,
you know what?
On my way.
Yeah, honestly, even I was invited by M for Montreal to come to the festival, and so I'm one of these guys who's standing right in front of the stage tonight to watch you performing. So maybe we can spread the word here and can show something about how you do your stuff. Yeah. So even that's special. You're performing tonight. Now, can you tell me something about the experience for tonight? Because you were supporting the other artists on this live tour for so many years. So you are used to stay on a stage. But is there something special for you today to play your own? Own stuff? I've
made a lot of show like for my own and supporting that guy Fouki, and I mean it's my favorite place in the world is on stage. That's where I take birth again and again.
Yeah, okay,
every
that's
time.
You choose the right job, honestly.
Yeah, and for like 2 years now I'm sober, so like it's a new way, because all ever before I was drunk and high while performing, but now I'm sober, and it's like a new way. I'm rediscovering it, and I'm really like embracing it. And I'm doing the show with 2 of my musicians, so bass and drum. So it's really loud and really like rhythm-wise, it's really like enhanced. And it's a 20-minute show, so I'm gonna be all in. I don't have to take my breath or anything. I'm just it's like 6 hour track and
all in 20 minutes.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. I'm happy to see the show at the end. But talking about your career on this point in your life in 2023, do you have any goals for you and your career?
Yeah, sure. I want. It's a little bit like capitalist like idea, but I want to keep growing. Yeah. But I say that as like, yes, in my career, but also like, as I said, as a human being, and like as a young adult growing in this world and everything. So I just try to like maybe settle down a little bit with like getting more like something stable. So I don't know, I'm just trying to make the more music and the better quality, and like getting more people to know me and to like come vibe with me and fuck with me, and that's about it. I'm like, I don't have like big objective, because I think it's not the right way of thinking it. It's art, it's music. It's not like something that you can really like quantify or like.
Whatever. Have you ever been to Germany or to Europe for performing?
I've been to Belgium and to France performing. I went to a festival in Belgium 3 years ago, just before COVID. And I made a featuring with a Belgian rapper. His name is Pete, really nice artist. And I've made some contact at Brussels. But I know there's a festival in Germany that welcome people from like
It's from Hamburg, Reeperbahn Festival.
Yes, exactly.
You have to come there because it's right the spot. It's similar to this one here, where you can show somebody who you are.
But I think we're gonna subscribe for next year. It's in November actually, right? September. Yeah. So for next year. I think
so we see us next year in Hamburg?
Maybe they have to pick up my subscription.
Okay.
But I think I can make it, yeah.
Okay, good to know. But thank you so far. It was really interesting to talk a bit about your career. And we will see you on stage tonight.
Yes.
What time?
11:15.
11:15.
Quai des Brumes, légendaire.
Da werde ich da sein. Das wird spät, aber I will stand first row, okay? With my camera like this and so.
Vlogging.
Thank you, Vendou. Das war also Vendou. Sehr spannender Artist, wie ich finde. Und ganz lustig, dass er ja eben quasi auch Monk.E mit angesprochen hat. Die Legende dieser Stadt. Und das Schöne ist, den treffe ich jetzt, um mit ihm eben über genau diese Stadt zu sprechen und den Hip-Hop dieser Stadt. Denn ich glaube, er wird mir eine Menge erzählen können. Und da machen wir uns auf den Weg jetzt. This is Monk.E.
Yeah, Monk.E, much love, based in Montreal, but traveling the world with my music that I call alchemiophony and with my painting that I call alchemiographie. It's the alchemy through sound and the alchemy through visual arts. And I'm happy to be here sharing my career, my path, and my vision.
It's funny because I met Vendou and he told me you're a legend, so it's proved.
Yeah, well, I think nowadays, if you go in different part of the world, there are different artistic communities that would attest to the fact that I'm important to the communities.
Yeah.
I think I've been obsessively producing since I'm 17. I'm 41 now. I have 78 world tour, 26 music album, 50 some videos. I have a bit more than 1,300 murals. Everything self-produced, no art gallery, no record label, all self-funded, everything. And I love human beings. I'm inspired by new generation, OGs. Every generation that is active, I try to have a real relation with that generations. So there's younger brothers like Vendou, which is in his respect like iconic in his generation. For him to show me love like this, I think it's just an example of true multi-generational love that exists in Montreal art also.
Interesting. And for me, it's also even the simple part of the hip-hop that I really fall in love with, because it's connecting people all over the world and hopefully in each generation in a city.
Yes.
And you can tell me something about hip-hop in this city?
Yeah, with pleasure.
Because there are two things very important for me. First of all, because of language and the mix on this the city, maybe it's interesting. You have to explain me about this. The first thing maybe is, I was here last year. It was very snowy, and I made my way on my own up north on the streets here.
Okay.
And I mentioned tons of graffiti.
Yeah.
Is this special about this area or special about Montreal?
No, I think this area in special. Montreal is filled with art. Everywhere, legal, illegal, it's filled with art. But I think this neighborhood is one of the important cultural neighborhood. So obviously, because there's a lot of people, there's a lot of tourists, there's also a lot of bombing and a lot of murals and a lot of coexistence between legal and illegal graffiti, you know.
And let's have a walk. I want to see something.
I'll show you one of my old murals that I have here. Maybe it's like 9 years ago, and as you can see, it's covered in bombing now, all the bottom part, you know. But I think it's the reality here. Like the muralism movement became so big and so influent that kind of is counter existence and the rebirth of vandalism kind of took over also. So now you really have all these walls are painted with bombing, throw up tags, murals, and layers of artists that can put their identity on these walls. Yeah.
This is yours?
Yeah, this is one of my old walls. Like you can see, it's faded out a little bit, and the colors is leaving. But I'm really into surrealism. There was a nice wild style in the bottom too that got covered. But yeah, these are
But it's still here for 9 years, so it means that let's turn around that people can see it. Maybe it's because of the reason that you did it. Can you tell me something about the history, the legacy of graffiti here? Because you're also doing this for more than 20 years, 25 years now.
Yeah, I've been doing this for like since 97, which means 26 years, 27 years?
Yeah.
20, something like that. But I was born in Drummondville, which is a city about an hour from Montreal. And I moved to Montreal in 2000. So really my capacity to influence and to absorb Montreal hip-hop really started more around 2000.
Yeah.
So I would say 23 years that I've been co-creating with my colleagues in this movement. I would say it's a vibrant place for one particular reason. I think we are an airport between Europe and America. We had a lot of French influence that came to build our community, came to distribute European spray paint, helped us have better technology and better diversity of styles. Because of our proximity to New York, we had all of that East Coast influence also. So as far as breakdancing, as far as even rapping, I think it's one of the most beautiful incubator that I've seen in my life because of this intersection of culture that is really unique to us. I would even go as far as to claim that I think Montreal to me is my favorite French-speaking rap city in the world. I prefer the American French rap than the European French rap in my own personal choices. And I think it comes from that understanding, that American flow, that American lifestyle. We are somewhat like Northern New Yorkers somewhat. So I think all of this has influenced deeply Montreal. And as Toronto being a completely Anglophone city, I think Montreal, by being a bilingual city, we also had the chance and the fortune to have the immigration from both colonized areas of French and English colonies. So instead of only having like Jamaica and Kenya moving in, we also have Congo and Haiti that also moved in. So now we have a really, really multi-cultural input in our hip-hop. You know, even like the Latin communities, we have a really strong Spanish-based hip-hop community also. So I think these are influent also in the fact that we are a really small market. The English rapper can't really get grants in Quebec because it's try to support the survival of the French. So only the French artists are supported, but also the French are limited to a 6 million audience because France doesn't really care about us. So we're stuck in that little bubble where we don't have a big market. And because of that, there's not a lot of investment. So most of the really influent French-speaking rapper and English-speaking rapper of the city, they have to be self-sufficient. They have to fund themselves. They have to be their own artistic director, their own producer, and all of this. So I think it creates artists that are more multifaceted, that are more and rooted in their community. So that's why I think Montreal is one of the best incubator for artists, but it's also one of the hardest place to make a living out of your art because there's a lot of really good artists and because the market is really small. So I think those who really make a difference are those who are able to export themselves. And I think the one that have been the best to export themselves are the beat makers because there's no borders with the language. We have beat makers like Kanada, who is like a world producer now. We had someone like I Classified, who produced for Future and The Weeknd, and we have like Rough Sound, who produced for Shakira, and so we have a lot of Montreal-based producers that are now on the international level. For our artists, I think it's harder because the Anglophone, they don't have local support, and for the Francophone, there's nothing else than the local support. So I think this is a little bit our reality, I would say.
What would you say? What is the decision to do your rap in English and in France? Is it just for business, for industry reasons, or is it identification?
No, I think we also have, because we have so much languages here in Montreal. I think there's an expression we create, like we call certain rappers are called second language rapper. And for us, it's like your pride should be to rock your first language. If you're Mohawk, you should rock in Mohawk. If you French speaking, you should rock in French. And one of the reasons is that if English is your second language, you won't be as good as an English rapper that it's his first language. So why would you even go there and compete in a playground that you don't even master yet? So for us, it was really important to have input from all these other influence. In our speech, we all have a Creole word from Haiti. We all have Algerian and Moroccan words, Arabic words. We all have English and Spanish words. So our language, the French I speak, is already mixed and hybrid with all of these influences. But the language I have the most vocabularies is my French. So it's the place I need to go to develop all of these new flows and all of these new combination of sounds and everything. So now I rap in English and I rap in Spanish too, but they are annex and they are secondary to my actually French career.
It's quite interesting. And coming to Montreal for Montreal, even gave me last year the expression that it's a decision you have to make even a little bit for your career, but on the other side, I felt a lot of pride in every of these artists to be from here and even to fight these issues you have when you try to make your way into the music industry. What would you say, a music festival like for Montreal, how important is this for the city and for the artists?
I would say the festivals are actually the bread of our artistic community. Most of our artistic community make its money from summertime, where all the festivals are gathered. Some festival kind of exist in our winters and stuff, but I would say summertime is where we really get active as musicians, as painters, and all of this. So I think that's our touristic beauty, and I think that's also one of our cultural support. If we didn't have these places to gather and to share our thoughts and to be paid, then I would say a lot of us would have stopped already, you know? So I think these are long-lasting festivals that often have interesting taste also, like they know the scene, so they choose specific artists and specific emergent brand and stuff like this. So I would say it's really important to give like a pat in the back to all of us that we're emerging and exploring like new avenues, new networks, and new incomes.
Can you tell me something about the graffiti part of this neighborhood? Because I mentioned there are so many different artists here. There was, like you said, illegal graffiti, legal graffiti, and there was some neighbor backyard where it was full packed. Is it a spot where every graffiti artist from all over the world will come to just because he can do his stuff here?
It's funny because at this exact corner, there's one of the first graffiti store that was here back then. It's not here anymore. It used to be called Cell Block. Yeah. And I was coming from out of town just to come get my stuff here, my magazine and everything.
Ah, here, okay, funny.
So I think there's an history. Like, no, I think one of those doors, you know. I think there's an history of painting. I even remember like on this block, we were going on the roof and there was one wall we could paint on the roof. So it used to be a place where, because graffiti was kind of young and new, it was kind of moving more freely, I would say.
Is the government fighting against graffiti artists?
For a long time it did. I would say maybe like the 90s, the 80s, the 90s, it fought against it. In the beginning of the 2000s, there's a program that was created for a couple of legal, we had like 12 different legal walls in Montreal. And then some money was invested for like muralism but that was a strategy a lot of cities try to do. They try to, instead of encourage public art, they try to erase graffiti, right? And by doing so, I think for the past 10 years, karma slapped back the city, in which for a couple of years, murals were staying clean. But the more and the more the city was hiring artists coming out of universities or out of town and all of these things, there was a loss of relation between those big walls and the actual active graffitis of our city. So the graffiti artists started taking over those walls and saying, hey, why him from UK can paint this big thing and be paid like thousands of dollars? I had a graffiti under it, I'm taking the spot again, you know? I would say now it's the reality of the neighborhood. And because we have the Mural Festival, which is one of the biggest mural festival around the world, we have maybe in the top 20 around the world, but it's like it won Canadian tourism prize because there were so many people. There was something like more than 2 million in attendance.
I have to come for the festival, I guess.
Yeah, festival is always in mid-June. But I would say the festival is really more based on muralism and fashion, and like it's not graffiti. Like the graffiti festival is the Under Pressure, and that's our longest running graffiti festival. Under Pressure, and it's lower. It's Saint Laurent where we were, but lower like St. Catherine and all of this.
Oh, okay.
This is our like 26-year running graffiti festival.
I found a lot of spots up north here at Saint Boulevard, Saint Laurent, west side. There was a lot of graffiti.
Yep.
But even on the whole streets. Being part of the city here, how important is it for you to say you're from Montreal when you're going to other countries?
Well, because of being a French-speaking Canadian also, and me, I don't really believe in patriotism and nationalism. Yeah. Me, I do believe nationalism, it's really close to racism and to borders and all of this. And because of our history of somewhat of oppression, like the Quebecois people had like the mix of people that were here first, the natives, and then the French-speaking that kind of mixed them and hybrid a little a métissage, like a métis society. It's after that really like the French Empire and the English Empire came and kind of took over. So in all of that history, I don't really feel proud I'm not a Canadian. I don't feel a Canadian. And Quebec is not a fully recognized nation yet, so am I a Quebecois? I don't know, but what I know is that I'm a Montrealer. Like, my city represent me, because what happened with the province of Quebec, because it's mainly French, sometimes it will create xenophobia against diversity because they want to preserve the French.
That's something I've learned last year.
Because once you want to protect something so bad, you're afraid that the things that are different than you are the enemy or are the cause of your need for survival. So that's why the Quebecois people, the fight have changed a lot. I was really proud to be a Quebecois. We are open-minded people. We are welcoming people. We are people based on waves of immigration. Like, we're all immigrant here, right? So I really loved it. But for the past 15 years, there was a growing agenda in Islamophobia, xenophobia, and all of these things. So people that don't have Muslim friends, they will be scared of Muslim. People that don't have a black friend, they will create some sort of fear of the unknown when they are outside of the big city of Montreal. That's why I would say Montreal, this is why we're so proud of it, because it has the beauty of the Quebecois people, but mixed in with the beauty of the entire world.
That's what even every time it brought me to this romantical part of the hip-hop culture, that there's nothing about race, nothing about religion, nothing about even the
orientation, gender,
whatever,
sexuality,
you know what I mean?
Yep.
And I think that's even one of the reasons what brought you all over the world with your music and with your graffiti, right?
Yeah.
But what's the best way to walk to see something else there or there?
I would say that's probably more noisy, but that's the main street. So maybe we'll take the main streets.
Tell me something about your career, your because. Of course, I listen to your music and I try to find something in the internet, and it's very impressive how even, like you said, more than 70 countries you were traveling to, and all on your own. Tell me something about the way you did.
But I think like I said earlier, my main resource as an artist is human. The conversation I have with them, their food, their fashion, their philosophy, more than anything. So to me, I felt limited in only staying in one neighborhood, only staying in one place. I had to go renew my main inspiration, which is the relation to others. And then I started realizing that you're not as celebrate where you are at than where you go. And that's often because the people that where you live, you're common to them. You're there, you're in the shows, they see you, you're around, right? When you go somewhere else, they don't see the old path, the old journey you had. They only see the final result that you have became.
Yeah.
And that's why it's more impactful when you travel. So I started being in love with that. Going places and having a strong impact quickly, being able to organize graffiti festival, help organize in Uganda, in Rwanda, going to Senegal to add my techniques, my skills, and my world perspective in the mix of these graffiti festivals and music festivals. So I would say my path is really based on my relation to what I would say God, my relation to life, to everything in existence, my capacity to have the intuition to move where I'm inspired to move, and from there to build real honest relations. And from there, that has been everything. All of my video director, all of my featuring and collaborations have come from these real human encounters. And that's what I'm going to continue doing. I don't think there's an age and there's a way to peak. When you have relation with the younger generation and the older generation, you remain an important pillar of that exchange of energy. So I think that's the basis of how I'm doing what I'm doing.
That sounds really like a dream that came true.
It is.
But of course I have to ask the question, how you can make a living out of it?
Well, I charge a lot of money when I'm working.
Yeah.
So it allows me to not work so much.
Oh, really?
I would say like about 20% of what I produce is contractual. About 80% it's giving to whichever community I want to give it to.
That's the mix that makes it possible.
Yeah, I don't charge any money outside of the Western world. If you see me in Mexico, everything is free. If you see me in Uganda, everything is free. Self-paid, plane ticket, hotel, paint, material, studio, I pay everything. To me, it's my way to clean my karma. I think in the Western world, we have too much for what we're supposed to have. I think it's taken from other places. So I feel the obligation to bring back some of these blessings back to where they were stolen from, going back into these places, be an open book in my art, be an open book with my talent, repaint these music studio, repaint these album covers, collaborate with the people there, really be present there. And I do believe that's what feeds my reputation also, to be able to charge so much when I do a painting for a corporation. Because they understand that they're paying for that lifestyle, you know, they're paying for everything else I'm doing.
But it's good when they understand what they're paying for.
Yeah, exactly. I think so. And I don't think it's even like, it's not like outside of what the price value is on my colleagues. It's just that because I don't need so much in my life, I can take that amount and make it fructify, like fructifier, fructifier, right?
Fluktuation.
Like fluctuate, fluctuate. To fluctuate bigger and bigger, and with small things make bigger. So I don't know, me, I love that lifestyle. I'm able to be sovereign in my art, to not have no one governing me except me and my relation to my creator. And I think because of that, I'll always have someone to support me, to buy me a canvas, to buy me a featuring, or to invite me in his home in southern Switzerland or wherever it is, you know?
Yeah, and like you said, before we started the interview, you won't stay in Montreal for the winter, you go to Switzerland?
Yeah, like this time, like last winter, like every winter since I'm 19, I'm traveling, usually from November to April.
Yeah.
Last year I did Senegal, Mexico, France, Uganda, Rwanda, and Tanzania. And this year I'm doing Switzerland, Rwanda, Uganda. Inshallah, I'm doing Senegal and Mexico after that. But I kept myself the last part of the winter to be free to choose another destination if something like pops up. But then I come back around April, and then boom, I'm back in the studio, back into painting outside, organizing my summer, the festivals and everything. And then during summer, I already organized my next winter tour. Yeah. And that's how I live my life since I'm 19.
Do you have any goals left? Because it sounds like...
Yeah, there's many goals left.
Yeah, really? Because it sounds like you have done so many great things.
But one of the things that didn't happen for me yet, like I didn't blow up musically. I blew up early, I would say, as a visual artist. So already at 19, 20, I was on television, I was doing these things. As far as my music, I'm still an underground artist. I would claim that I'm one of the best lyricists of the province, but I'm still underground. I don't have a popular success like most of my colleagues and most of the brothers I grew up doing this rap thing with, you know? So I think I'm
musical success.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for some sort of mainstream popularity that I don't have in Quebec. I would say I can't fill 1,000 people room yet, but there's many places around the world that I could fill a 300 people room, right? But I'm waiting for that new expansion. That's one of my goals. But another one of my goals is to be able to be given festival to manage, to curate, to be able to give like a purpose to all of these people I met around the world, and to be able to have ways to curate projects where I can move with them, you know? Like, it's so hard to get visa for Africa, it's so hard to get visa for Mexico. I would like to be able to be a bridge for these visa to happen, for these encounters to happen. There's so much to be done yet. I want to do sculpture. I want to, like, because to me, the main thing I'm building is my legacy. And my legacy go through the body of work I'm producing, and that will never end. It's not like my legacy will finish. I need to produce new music that relates to my new epiphanies and my new revelation and my new consciousness. I need to constantly update what I'm learning in life in painting forms and in music forms. So already that is my objective, to live long so I could increase my legacy and my body of work. And in that body of work, I want to have impactful influence. So I would like to have songs with Busta Rhymes and with all the greats, you know. So there's still a lot of gap in the thing that I want to achieve with my life.
But the funny thing is, we started with the interview with the fact that Vendou, the guy that I interviewed the day before, named you a legend. What does this mean to you when people thinking you are a legend?
I think we can't have everything we want. So even if I don't have, like I said, a mainstream success, I do know that on the community level, I'm one of the pillars. I'm like, because of the real relation I have. And I think that has a longer lifespan than pop culture success. So I'm happy that he considered me a legend. I do believe that I need to be loved. I don't know if legend is the right status, but I've put so much for that city that I'm happy when people can actually give me a bit of credit and tell me like, nah, we see you, brother. You work.
There's a footprint.
There's a footprint. We see you, right? So that pleased me. And I would say a lot of my new featuring are based in these relations with the new generation. I feel there was maybe like a 10-year gap in which being an OG was not cool. But now I think there's a renewal of the hip-hop values of respecting your OGs. So for the past 3-4 years, I've been feeling a lot of love and a lot of respect from all of this new scene of rappers. So I feel blessed. I feel that I was right to be patient. I feel that I was right to continue to hustle, even if my level of streams were not great, even if my YouTube views were not great, to continue to hustle because someone is listening, someone is influenced by what I put out to the world.
And it's a pleasure for me, honestly, to meet you.
Same thing. Really, good people doing good things.
And yeah, and the good thing is, like, in my opinion, having a network all over the world gives us the chance to make hip-hop culture a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
And I'm sure our world will cross again in the future.
Inshallah, please. I would love it so much. You already know gratitude. You're here with nice conversation with human beings that chose hip-hop as a way of communication. So I'm really happy to continue that communication with new human beings, new passionate, new legends from all over the world. I feel fortunate to be included in this media, and I will continue to work, so let's connect.
Thank you. Und das hier, was ich mache, da hinten irgendwo sind diese ganzen Graffiti-Spots, von denen er eben gerade gesprochen hat. Die gucke ich mir die Tage mal an. Das war also mein kleiner Ausflug mit Monk.E. Ich sage ja jedes Mal spannend, aber auch hier gilt das wieder, vor allem weil einfach ein Typ, der es geschafft hat, sein ganzes Leben, seine ganze Existenz voll der Kultur zu verschreiben. Und wenn du hörst, wie er es geschafft hat, mit Musik und vor allen Dingen auch mit Kunst so viel auf der Welt zu sehen und so viele Menschen damit auch zu beeinflussen, offensichtlich bis nach hier, dann ist das immer eine unheimlich inspirierende Sache und ich freue mich auch darüber, ihn dabei gehabt zu haben. Jetzt mache ich mich gerade auf den Weg und ihr seht, es wird immer dunkel und hell und ich hoffe, der Ton spielt mit. Aber ich fahre gerade mit dem Fahrrad durch die dunklen Straßen von Little Portugal zu der einen Venue, wo eine der Begrüßungsveranstaltungen, was ist das, Willkommenveranstaltungen von Montreal stattfinden. Da sind auch ein paar Auftritte. Mal gucken, ob ich davon noch was mitkriege. Und dann will ich ja noch wieder zurück und mich mit Vendou treffen, genau genommen seinen Auftritt sehen. Und eigentlich hat Monk.E auch noch hier irgendwo in einer Location auch noch eine Release-Party. Gar nicht im Umfeld von M von Montreal, der hat aber ein Album rausgebracht. Aber da wird auch noch Hip-Hop-Szene aus Montreal da sein. Mal gucken, was ich davon mache. Solange mache ich jetzt erstmal hier Radtour und pass auf, dass ich mich nicht auf die Fresse packe. Ein neuer Tag hier in Montreal und ihr glaubt nicht, was alles passiert ist. Ziemlich wild, weil ich war ja gestern unterwegs. Die letzten Aufnahmen, die es gibt, sind, wie ich mit dem Fahrrad unterwegs bin, auf dem Weg zu einer Venue. Und dann bin ich in der Venue, also so eine kleine Konzerthalle, wollte jemanden treffen, dann ein Konzert gucken. Und irgendwo auf diesem Weg ist meine Kamera abhanden gekommen. Das hat dazu geführt, dass ich dann nicht genau wusste, was mache ich denn jetzt, weil da sind ja die Videoaufnahmen drauf und wie mache ich denn jetzt weiter, wie produziere ich denn noch 2 Tage hier. Hat mir eine halb schlaflose Nacht gebracht, hat dazu geführt, dass ich gestern auch einfach erstmal keinen Bock mehr hatte und dann überlegt habe, okay, dann muss ich ja mit allen nochmal neue Gespräche führen. Heute Morgen bin ich dann losgelaufen, habe mir versucht, Equipment zu kaufen. Heute Mittag habe ich dann von jemandem gehört, der die Kamera mitgenommen hatte, weil er gedacht hat, ey, die liegt da in dem Club rum, was macht die denn? Ja, auf die passe ich doch lieber mal auf. Lange Rede, kurzer Sinn, jetzt bin ich wieder da. Mein Setup ist ja, gestern ist mir noch jemand es geht immer weiter, gestern ist jemand noch übers Mikrofon gefahren, das habe ich ist mir runtergefallen, Auto drüber gefahren, kaputt. Was ich noch habe, ist das hier, deswegen werde ich jetzt ein bisschen so arbeiten. Aber die Kamera ist da, das heißt, wir können jetzt weitermachen hier mit meiner Reise. Was ich jetzt als erstes mache, ist, ich treffe mich jetzt mit einem Label. Septième, das müssen wir gleich mal klären. Ganz schlimmer Name, ganz schöner Name, aber ganz schlimm auszusprechen für mich und das lasse ich mir jetzt alles erklären. Französischsprachiges kanadisches Rap-Label gibt es seit 20 Jahren und ich treffe mich jetzt hoffentlich mit den Machern und rede drüber. Hi Sam, and thank you for your time. You also working for the label with this wonderful name that I really
you got it.
I try to pronounce Septième Ciel.
Septième Ciel, yes.
It means in English?
It's like Seventh Heaven Records, if we got the translation right.
And your job is?
My job is a project manager for Septième Ciel, and I'm like the left-hand man of Steve Jolin, the CEO of the company. And I work as a manager for independently for artists not in the hip-hop scene, like it's Clay and Friends and Jay Scott. And I did Fouki, big name in the hip-hop scene here, like pop artist, rap pop artist, for 5 years.
Okay.
And I work as a project manager for the label since 2018.
Okay. But maybe you can give me something about the legacy of the label too, because from my point of view, it's even interesting to see that there's you have 20th anniversary right now. There's the hip hop label in Montreal, which is still there for 20 years.
Yes, we just organized like the biggest reunion of the history of the rap scene here in Quebec at the Bell Center. Like there were
really?
10,000 people on November 10th last week.
Crazy.
It was crazy.
So I had to be here last week, yeah?
Yeah, maybe, but you see a couple of hacked in the here for M for Montreal.
Yeah.
And
but it's crazy, of course, to celebrate an anniversary in such a location. But it means that there's a big legacy of this label. Can you maybe even if you're only there for 3 years, but can you describe or 5 years? Can you describe the legacy of this label?
Yeah, this Septième Ciel was the first label that gather artists through the industry, not like. Putting some underground artists to upfront in the music industry, like media, in the media, at the radio, and artists like Corias is a big name here in Quebec, and it was one of the first signature of Steve Jolin for 17e Ciel. But the beginning of the label is interesting because Steve Jolin is I would say, a rapper, and he's from Rouyn-Noranda, Abitibi-Témiscamingue. So it's 8 hours by car from Montreal.
Okay, yeah. Okay, crazy.
And his rap name is Another J. And in 2003, he was rapping and trying to, get known by the music scene in Quebec, and he was knocking at every label door, like trying his best to get his new album signed, or get new partners, or trying to develop his artistry. And he was facing a lot of decline, and he decided to start just to get his first signature for 17e Ciel.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, but it's a true story. Yeah,
it's a true story. And after he because of his entrepreneur side, he started to organize a hip-hop dépendant, it was called, and he was always inviting artists from Montreal, Quebec, to come at Rouyn-Noranda, and he was he was inviting them to perform and give them their first scene show in Rouyn-Noranda, and that's how he make up his name in the music rap scene and the industry globally. And then after he started to work with Samian, is indigenous rapper. It was one of the first one, and he has a big success with his first album. And it started from there with his second signature, Samian. After he met Corias, who was one of the first rap name that had a real viral thing through internet. But in 2006 the internet wasn't about YouTube or Facebook and everything, so it was more like a underground blog, and he had a big viral thing with Corias. And then after it, the name started to, ring some bell more in the music industry. So 17e Ciel, and he started to put some album out from, Corias, Samian, and after he signed Dramatique, which is a big name in the Montreal scene. He was part of Mosaïen, a big group from Saint-Michel, suburbs from Montreal. And it started like that, and after he became a big leader in this music industry, and he helped rap to get his letter of noblesse, lettre de noblesse.
Interesting about all of this is that bringing in a hip hop label to the scene here is. It looks like this typical story. Nobody wants to have us rappers, so we'll do our same label.
Yeah, exactly.
How
he
you
was
would
facing that. He was facing it's a new genre. I don't know if we can invite them, or I don't. He was facing some decline. I don't know how we say refus.
Switch to France.
Sorry for my English.
No worries.
C'est en français ici.
But let me add a question. So when you look at 20 years of this label in this area, in this district here, what do you say? How was the development of the hip hop scene here? Was it a small scene, or was hip hop big here in Montreal all the time?
It became bigger, and the big year that everything seemed to get the real recognition it deserved was in 2016. There were really something happening, as I said, Corias was inviting in some big television shows, and started to fill up some big venue in Montreal, in Quebec, all around Quebec, the Quebec province, like we're 8 millions, but it's large. I don't know if you know about a bit the province of Quebec. But
every time when I'm coming from Europe to the US or to Canada, I'm flying over a lot of lot of land yard, and it's all about the area of Quebec. I would say.
And there's a big Montreal. There's a specificity like with the language because it's like Franglish a lot.
But let me ask a question there. Starting a label here and supporting artists, how important is it if they do it in French or in English?
Yeah, because of the infrastructure with issue of language with the political and founding, to get some real founding here in Quebec as French artists, like francophone artists, you have to get full of the founding, you have to do it in French.
Okay, got it.
And if you do it in English, you can have some founding, but it's more difficult because we have a real specificity here in Quebec. That's why we call the rest of Canada, because we are the only provinces in Canada.
And Montreal is
French.
And Montreal is kind of the border.
It's the border because it's like
I've learned
it's like cosmopolitan. You have so many culture.
I met
the same area.
I met Monk.E. last
Monk.E,
night.
that's my man from K6A.
And he told me Main Street, now some Boulevard Saint Laurent, was something like a border between English district and French district. So we ride here at this border, and I can imagine how tough is it to decide, even if you want to rap in French or in English, for the label. What do you say? Is it for you guys even important what language the rapper's using if you're signing them?
No, but. We are a majority signing francophone artists because of what I was saying to you, but we have some English-speaking artists like Zach Zoya. We have Mudley, who is a female R&B artist, and but our main focus is French speaking artists because of the configuration of the infrastructures here in the province of Quebec.
What would you say, signing artists? What is nowadays, even when you run a label here, what is important? How do you decide to sign an artist nowadays?
The best way is to keep it organic, in our relationships, and a lot of artists that Steve signed through the years were because he has some a great relationship with them because of his past as a rapper, entrepreneur.
So something about hip-hop culture and hip-hop scene in general?
Really, yeah.
That's interesting,
I would say that.
I'd like that.
Yes, and that's it. And after, you have to find artists that fits with your value and as human and as an enterprise, as a label. And we don't force anything. It's always naturally that we are starting working with new artists, and that's what we saw on stage at the Bell Center. It's a family thing. It was really a family thing, and we invited not just our artists from the label, but we invited Loud. 514. We were I would say we wanted to pull and we wanted to celebrate. Sorry.
No worries.
We wanted to celebrate not just the 20 years of 17e Ciel, but the legacy of rap Quebec and where it is in 2003.
Would you say people coming from the Quebec area are proud of representing this rap part of the world? Is there something special about rappers coming from that area?
Rapping Montreal?
Yeah.
Yes, because we are in the shadow of Toronto scene too. So yeah, we are really proud of what the rap in Quebec became and is becoming, and it's never ending. So it's nice to see some artists who are playing in the biggest festival all around the province of Quebec, and maybe sometime there are some exportation like in France a bit, and but it's a bit difficult because of the language and the big offer of artists like in France that already has like big numbers and everything, and so it's hard to compete and challenge this territory. But we are when artists are playing like in France or Belgium, Switzerland, they are really proud of where they come from. And Montreal, when you say, hey, I'm from Montreal, to someone in the world, I think people are like, oh, okay, you are particular.
And maybe that's even the good point, because we are here because I'm here because of M for Montreal. Your artist is performing tonight on that festival. How would you say, how important is such a festival, even for a label like you, and even for the city or for the whole area?
It's important because we can showcase what we do best here to people like you, and like coming from different part of the world, and we are really proud of the artists that we have. You see that it's like Carl Tremblay is a big name that died, passed away last night.
Oh, really?
From one of the biggest group of the history. It's not rap, but it's it's les Cowboys Fringants. And this group influenced a bit the rap.
This one.
Yeah. It's
okay.
It's les Cowboys Fringants, and I don't know where I was going with this, but
okay.
Rest in peace, Carl Tremblay.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's something tomorrow, maybe.
It's crazy because I was on social media since yesterday, and I saw a lot of rap artists that were sending their condolence and everything to Les Cowboys Fringants. It's so big, and this is the MTELUS, like the ancient metropolis. So that's one of the first artists to fill this place. It's like 2,000 place of capacity, and if you go back 10 years ago, there weren't that much rap artists filling this place, but today we have a lot of artists in Quebec that fill this place, and that's one of the accomplishment of this scene. And we have some the Place des Festivals right there, and you have always rap artists from Quebec that plays on the main stage in front of 40,000 people every years in the summer at the Franco of Montreal. So yeah,
hip hop is big.
Hip hop is big in Quebec, and yeah.
Do you see a bright future for the label and for rap music from that area?
Hope that we're here for 20 other years.
Yeah, hopefully.
Hopefully, but there's always new challenge, and our music is marketable, and so yeah, we have to keep track of how we can get the best out of these new configuration in the music industry.
Tell me something about the artist for tonight, LaF.
Yeah, LaF.
They're performing on M4 Montreal. Tell me something about the artist and why they're performing here.
Yes, LaF is a group of three MC with one DJ, but they have like a main producer behind them.
It sounds like a classic rap crew.
Yeah, it's but they don't sound classic. Like it's not. They came from boom bap and everything, but they try to. They have an edgy sound. They are like trying different genre, and that's what.
Was it the sound check we've seen?
No,
that was a different one.
No, they came. Yeah, they came before, but it's they have like the three individual MCs are completing each other because they are really like there's one guy who is really melodic and the other who's more rapping, and the other one is from Jamaz is from Paris, but he's now he has his citizenship and he's a Quebecer, but he has a French, like a bit French accent speaking, so that's really cool. That's what I like from LaF, who is like I don't know how to qualify them, and I think it's the beauty of it.
Okay, that means that I have to be there at stage time. What time is stage time?
10 p.m.
10 p.m. 10 Uhr bin ich im Club Soda und guck mir LaF an. Sam, first of all, thank you very much. I give you this one here.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me and for telling me something about the scene here. And okay, 30th anniversary maybe again in the big venue.
Oh yeah, we hope so. We hope to do like this big reunion. I hope it wasn't the biggest reunion of history. I hope that the biggest reunion will be like on this big Place des Festivals in front of 50,000 people.
Okay, I have to be there. Das ist dann das, wo ich auf jeden Fall wieder herkommen muss. Jetzt ziehen wir hier weiter. Thank you, Sam.
Thank you, Niko.
Good luck. Das war also Sam von Ciel. Ein schrecklich schöner Name. Und vor allen Dingen ein beeindruckendes Label, denn wenn man sich mal anguckt, dass das Ganze ja vor 20 Jahren gestartet wurde, auch wieder aus dem gleichen Grund, wie es überall auf der Welt passiert. Ihr wollt nicht uns Rap-Künstler auf Labels haben, dann gründen wir halt ein eigenes und 20 Jahre später machen sie hier die Halle der Montreal Canadiens voll, vor 15.000 Menschen, für einen Labelabend. Ne? Also muss man sich auch mal vor Augen führen. Sehr, sehr schön. Ich werde nachher auf jeden Fall LaF mir anschauen und ansonsten habe ich morgen noch eine ganze Liste an Interviews. Und ich packe jetzt auf jeden Fall gleich diesen Stick sauber ein, sichere die Daten und freue mich darüber, dass ich ihn wieder habe. Ja. Eigentlich müsste ich auch noch mal in den Graffiti-Bereich hier, ne? Also ein bisschen die Straßen abfahren, um euch ein kleines bisschen davon zu zeigen. Denn wir sind hier in Little Portugal, das ist Boulevard Laurent oder Saint Laurent, wie das heißt. Und oben, ich bin ja gestern Nacht durchgefahren ohne meine Kamera, weil die war ja weg. Sehr geile Ecken. Also wenn ihr so, ich weiß nicht, wie das euch geht, aber wenn ihr so eine Liebe dafür habt, das habe ich ja in jeder Stadt. Wer mir folgt, der weiß das ja auch, egal wo ich bin, ich poste immer Graffiti überall. Total geil hier. Die ganze Viertel ist voll davon. Und eigentlich möchte ich das jetzt hier noch mit reingeschnitten haben. Es ist Abend hier in Montreal und Schlittschuhfahren liegt mir nicht. Deswegen mache ich mich jetzt auf den Weg in zwei Venues, in denen jetzt noch Konzerte stattfinden. Zum einen in ein Café hier um die Ecke, wo ein Künstler auftritt, den ich vielleicht noch interviewe, mal gucken. Und zum anderen in den Club Soda, wo mit LaF die Crew spielt, die mir vorhin Sam von Ciel, diesem Hip-Hop-Label hier aus Montreal, empfohlen hat. Da gehen wir jetzt mal hin und mal gucken, ob ich vielleicht ein paar Bilder von den Live-Performances eingefangen kriege. Sehr beeindruckender Auftritt, muss ich sagen. Der hat mir sehr gut gefallen. Hab mich auch gleich verabredet, will morgen Mittag mal ein Interview mit ihm machen. Mal gucken, ob wir das zeitlich hinkriegen. Werden wir schaffen. Was ich jetzt mache ist, ich gehe jetzt genau einmal über die Straße auf die andere Seite in diesen Club. Und hier ist jetzt, wie versprochen, LaF. LaF ist der Name der Crew, die jetzt hier noch spielt. Das war's also hier mit meinem kleinen Besuch bei LaF und ich bin echt auch hier wieder. Ich denke, ich bin überrascht. Also, was heißt überrascht? Ne? Was soll es heißen? Die sind ja natürlich auch alles Musiker hier, die wissen, was sie machen. Aber die Energie ist krass. Und vor allen Dingen eben auch wieder gelernt. Ich habe mich mit Sam von dem Label noch kurz unterhalten. Montreal, die Jungs kommen hierher, deswegen ist das Publikum auch da. Aber die performen auch. Das ist eine richtige Show. Das hat richtig Spaß gemacht. Das ist richtig Energie auf der Bühne gewesen. Mal gucken, vielleicht schaffe ich das, die morgen auch noch mal kurz zu treffen. Genauso wie den Kollegen, beide spontan verabredet. Ich sehe jetzt zu, dass ich sie morgen spreche, um ein kleines bisschen von denen zu hören, wie so deren Karrieren von dem Punkt aus, wo sie sind, jetzt weitergehen kann. Und das ist das, was ich hier am Ende wieder merke, wenn ich auf diesem Festival bin. Ich habe jetzt hier so 6, 7, 8 unterschiedliche Künstler und Künstlerinnen, die ich so checke, die ich so ein bisschen begleite, wo ich mir was angucke und so. Und ich finde, die haben alle richtig gute Sachen. So, ist die Frage, wie kommt man von hier in den Rest der Welt? Aber ich freue mich, wenn ich euch da draußen zumindest so ein kleines bisschen was auf den Weg geben kann. Und vielleicht ist auch irgendeiner der Songs, wir werden ja auch wieder eine kleine Playlist machen, irgendeiner der Songs, die da irgendwie drin stecken, auch irgendwas für euch. Denn ich, ganz ehrlich, habe von jedem dieser Künstler und Künstlerinnen, die ich jetzt hier so in diesen Tagen begleiten werde, mindestens einen Song, den ich mag. Dritter Tag für mich auf MV Montreal. Ich komme gerade aus dem Hotelzimmer, denn ich habe hier im Hotel gleich den ersten Termin. Sarenhes, das war der Künstler von gestern. Ich hoffe, ich spreche ihn richtig aus. Auch wieder mein Problem. Ist gleich der erste, den ich treffen werde. Der ja sehr spannend war, weil er so vielseitig war. Zwischendurch getanzt, lateinamerikanische Einflüsse, gesungen, viel R&B, gerappt, straight, modern Sounds. Gute Leute, glaube ich, im Produktionsteam um sich rum und ziemlich charismatische Künstler. Und genau deshalb möchte ich mit ihm jetzt mal sprechen, um auch ihn mal näher kennenzulernen und ihn euch vorzustellen. Thank you for your time.
Thanks to you.
First issue for me is the right pronunciation of your name. I'm very sorry about that.
It's Sarenhes.
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 I love this. And it was a really pleasure. Let's have a walk. It was a pleasure even to see your show last night. Let's start with this. First of all, how was it for you to perform on a festival like M from Montreal, where so many business guys are in the audience?
Well, it was just like a great opportunity to just, show what I can do, how I sound. And like I met a lot of Greek people and it was just a nice experience. Yeah.
And I think it's a good platform even to spread the word about your talent and all of that. But what is the beginning of all of that? Where you started doing music and why?
Those are great questions. I guess I always been into music. I gotta say that my dad is West African dancer and musician.
Yeah.
So since I'm born, I've been playing like instruments, West African instruments and all that. So this is where it all started. And later on, I started playing piano, guitar, and all of that. And I think I'm doing that because that's who I am. I always been doing music. So this is just like me being me. Yeah.
And it's good. That's what I felt when I saw you on stage, because it was not just only rap. There were so many influences. You started dancing. What inspired you to do music? And what are the most important things you wanna spread with your music? What do you want to tell the people?
There's definitely like many messages throughout my songs, but I gotta say that I love to use like my roots, like where I'm coming from. So from my dad's side is like Africa, all of that, West Africa, and from mom's side is the native indigenous side from here. So I like to go just like to those influence and put that in my music. Not necessarily always in the lyrics, but always like also in the sounds. So in the drums and the melody and the instruments. And I'm not doing that like on purpose. I think it's just natural when I hear things. When I hear hip hop, I hear African music too, because that's the same thing. So I like to play around those influences too.
Yeah. I don't like that really. You're based here in Montreal, right?
Yes, I am.
I love the city. And even also because of the fact that it's bilingual.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
But as a musician, it could be an issue to decide: would you do your stuff in English or in French? How is it for you?
I guess that for like every artist here that sings in French, it's easier because there's like a quota, talking about radio and all that. So when you sing in English or in another other language, it's harder. But I'm just trying to be authentic and I'm just trying to sing like in the language that I'm, the most inspired. So I sing in English, sometimes in French, sometimes in Spanish. I would like to sing in my dad's language and my mom's language too. So there's a lot of things coming up too. But it's definitely harder, I'd say, when you want to stay here music-wise, but to go in the US and export your art, it's easier when you sing in English.
Yes,
for sure.
Of course. That's the question. What do you want to reach with your music? What is your plan for your career? I ask you the question because seeing you on stage was like, and I had this situation a couple of times in my career. Okay, this stage is too small for that.
Yeah, I felt the same way, man. I did. Yeah.
And it's a thing of mindset, a thing of self-confidence. But I saw your plan is to go on big stages. Is
yeah,
it
is. And we did like super big stage this summer, and I had the chance to like bring native indigenous dancer on stage and like African percussionists and all that vibe. So I'm getting used to play on big stage. So when I have like smaller venues, I always feel a little bit comfortable because I don't know where to because I'm used to dance and jump like everywhere and backflip on stage and all that. So I was like, there were so many wires and things, but it's always fun to get that more personal things too. But I want to export my art everywhere in the world. I have upcoming things coming up like in LA, in Africa, in Europe. So I'm thriving for sure.
Do you have contact to the local hip-hop scene here? Because for me, traveling to Montreal and being guest of this festival, M for Montreal, is also every time it's like jumping into water and trying to find out a little bit more about the scene here, how it works, how it is. Do you have contact to the hip-hop scene here, and what do you think about Montreal as a hip-hop city? Yeah,
for sure. I think there's so many talent here, but the thing is that I feel like in Montreal there's like this underground rap scene, and there's this like pop rap scene, and it's like two different words.
Yeah.
And they don't really collab with each other. There's like a little bit of like a war between them.
Really?
So yeah, kind of. So
And you're on the pop rap.
I mean, I have a foot in both.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I'm trying to just be authentic and all of that. But yeah, I see that there's definitely some judgment between those two worlds. But yeah, definitely a lot of talent and yeah.
But what makes it unique coming from Montreal and being an artist from that city?
Well, I got it. Like, I'm living in Montreal right now, but I'm actually born in Bkay, which is the native indigenous reservation of Quebec City. So I'm born in Quebec City, and I just moved in Montreal like 1 year ago, like for work. But I gotta say that for me, coming from Quebec City was like a big challenge because I always been the guy who was singing in another language than French. And so to find my place was, I gotta say, a little bit harder, but there's a lot of pride in it too, you know? Because I stayed authentic throughout all of that, and I'm still doing today.
What is the goal, the future goal of your music? Is it open question?
I'd say with all of the humility of the world, I wanna have everything, man, for real. But I wanna do it right. I wanna do it while staying authentic. I wanna spread my message. I wanna show the world like how beautiful are my cultures and the message that goes with it. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's a good thing for me because there was such a positive vibe when you were on stage. I really felt what you're talking about now. That it's about showing people the beauty of culture.
Yeah.
So do you feel as a part of a hip hop scene, or do you feel as a musician, as an artist, something that is even?
I love this question. I think that I'm really into rap music because I like to express things and like fight through lyrics and all of that. So hip hop is a great weapon to do that.
Yeah.
But if you see me on stage or like when I have more time, sometimes I do blues. I do like jazz. I do rock. I do hip hop. I like to like explore many genres, and to me, it's part of being like really authentic as a musician. Now, am I a rapper? I am, but I'm not just that. And but if I had to put a word on it, I would say I'm a blues man because I feel like there's everything in blues and there's Africa for sure too.
Yeah, the good thing about hip hop culture is it invented anything, but it reinvented everything. So
yeah,
that's a good thing about the culture at the end, because there's no unique point of what hip hop is. It took things and mixed it up, and that is what I felt when I saw you on stage, and that's why I was
thank you so much.
blessed to see it, because
thank you so much.
I love this mix. And I'm really interested. Maybe have you ever been to Europe or to Germany with that?
Not yet, but it's coming this year for sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, any plans? Can you tell me where you will be?
I'm gonna be in Paris, France, and there's maybe Switzerland.
Yeah.
So that's what's coming up for now. And
you have
we'll
to come
see.
to Hamburg or Berlin.
Oh, I wish.
Because in Hamburg we have a festival, for example, called Reeperbahn Festival, which is similar to this one, and it gives a chance to show up for artists coming from other countries to show their music in a small venues, a little bit like this one here, and it's a great thing to get in touch with the scene there. So
I would love to be there.
Come to Hamburg.
I will.
For me, it was a pleasure to saw your
Thank
show.
You so much. Thank you so much.
Ey, ich könnte jetzt noch viel darüber sagen, und es ist nicht so schön, weil da neben mir steht und ich Deutsch rede. Sorry, I have to do it in German.
It's all good. It's all good.
Aber hört rein, wirklich. Es macht sehr viel Spaß. Für mich geht's jetzt weiter, but thank you, Joseph.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Nächster Stopp ist ein kleiner Club hier in Montreal und ein Künstler namens Mace the Great. Kommt aus Wales, dann in Montreal und spielt trotzdem hier auf dem Festival. Und deshalb will ich mir von ihm mal erzählen lassen, warum er hier ist. I mentioned your name on the list, but you're not from Montreal, right?
No, I'm from Wales.
Why you are here?
I got given the opportunity to perform here, and yeah, I took the chance because I haven't been Montreal before.
And how you like Montreal so far?
Yeah, I like it. Good food, nice people. Yeah. I've only been here one day, but I wanted to say I done Reeperbahn Festival.
Oh, really? You were there?
Yeah, a few months ago I done Reeperbahn Festival in Hamburg.
And how was it for you?
Oh, I love Germany.
Yeah?
Yeah, I love Germany.
And what was special about that festival?
Good show, really good crowd, like really welcoming. Yeah, I just loved every bit about it. The burgers in Germany. Yeah.
How come we're talking about food? Let's get to that. But this one is also for me very interesting, even because it's a small festival. It gives a little shine for artists.
Definitely.
And the crowd is very B2B. It's very business.
Yeah, very corporate, very corporate, the crowd. But I'm used to that, so it's okay.
How was it for you to perform in front of them?
I'm used to performing in front of corporate crowds, so it's fine. It takes a bit to kind of pull them on side and get them out of their shell and make them feel comfortable. But another day in the office, it's all good.
It's even the purpose of such a festival that it gives you the chance to perform for maybe business people who can...
Yeah, like other bookers and agents and stuff, so yeah, it's a different crowd, but you gain different opportunities from performing in front of crowds like this.
And you used it because I think you did it in Germany. You
did
it here. But it's also about introducing yourself. And this here too, can you tell me who you are, where you're from? You're from Wales. But what is the reason why you choose hip hop as your voice?
So my name is Mace the Great. I'm from Cardiff City, which is in Wales. And the reason I do the genres in Britain, the genre I started in was grime, but that's very much very, very similar to hip hop in terms of like the culture of it and stuff. I don't know, I think I just relate to hip hop. I relate to the culture. If I could, that's my favorite genre to listen to and to write to and to perform. So yeah, I feel like it just resonates with me and my life. So yeah, I enjoy it.
And what is your music all about? And how would you describe it?
My music is unapologetically Welsh. Well, I say Welsh. I don't speak Welsh in my music. It's Cardiff.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like the city I live in. That's the vibe of my music. It's where I'm from. It's that vibe. It's about my story. It's about things I've experienced, things I've seen, things I feel. But mainly, yeah, if I could give you two words to explain my music, it would be unapologetically Cardiff.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
I've never been to Cardiff. What kind of neighborhood was it where you grew up? What stories you're telling from there? Just
about my experiences growing up. I didn't come from a kind of area with lots of money in it. It was like a deprived area I come from in Cardiff, but I think the best people come out of the most deprived areas. Do you know what I mean? It builds strong character. So yeah, that's what it's all about for me.
Bringing your music to Montreal, to Canada, is there even something interesting for you to get in touch with the guys here who do their music? Yeah,
definitely. It's important. Like I'm a fan of loads of like Canadian artists. I love like the hip hop and the scene out here. And obviously you've got artists like Drake and Tory Lanez all come from Canada. So yeah, I've been listening to Canadian rap for a while. So yeah, it's good to be out here, man. It's good to be out here. It's great to have the opportunity to perform my music out here as well.
Is it even tough when you're from Wales to make your way into the UK market? Is there a gap, maybe?
Yes, there is a gap. It can be tough, but now I think the UK market is like oversaturated with like London and stuff. So it's a good thing to be from Wales because it's kind of refreshing. Like people don't see much of that because it's all London based. Yeah. So now people from Wales, hearing someone from Wales, they'd be like, "Oh, who's this guy?" And then it's so easy to impress them because it's like they write you off straight away, and then it's like, "Oh God, no, he's actually good." Like, you get me? So it's gone from a point where I didn't think it was, what's the word I'm looking for? It's gone from a negative to a positive. Like me being from Wales in the UK was a negative, but now I look at that as a positive now.
I've never been to Cardiff. I would love to go there.
You should come.
I think it's unique, like you said, right?
Yeah, you should come. We haven't got better food than Germany, but still, come.
You're performing tonight again, is it right?
Yes, I'm performing tonight.
For a more bigger crowd than you.
Yeah, I think it's IC Mag I'm performing for the event. So I'm really looking forward to that because this was more of like a corporate event, like business people. Whereas I think tonight will be like, it'll be for like people, like music lovers. So. And
did you already get some feedback, some maybe contacts that they
Yes, yeah. I met up with, I did get someone's card today and she really enjoyed the set. She manages another artist out here who's doing really well. So yeah, it's I've had good feedback. Everyone enjoyed the show, but they were very like business-like, so they were very no dancing, hands in pockets.
But do you think it's from your opinion as an artist, and you have guys with you here, but I'm sure you have a management, a label, whatever. But is it important for you as an artist to know the business nowadays? I think it's very important.
Yeah, it's very important to know the business. 100%.
Not doing the business, but knowing the business.
Knowing the business, to know that the people around you are doing the right things for you. If you don't know the business, you'll just assume everything's fine. But it's you need to have some sort of knowledge on the business to know, to make sure you've got the right people doing the right things around you. So yeah, it's important.
And do we have any goals for you in your music? Because sky's the limit, as I would say.
Yeah, sky's the limit. I want to
doing it in English. The world is yours, right?
Yeah, definitely. Like I think the goals for me is to see the world and feed my family off music, off doing what I love doing. That's the main goals.
Period.
Yeah.
It was a pleasure to meet you.
I knew, man.
And I will be at your show tonight. So.
Yeah, appreciate it. Good. I'll see you tonight, man. Take care. Thank you. Thank you, man.
I take this one.
Yeah.
We see us tonight.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Take care, bro. Appreciate it.
Ich treffe mich jetzt hier mit Bkay und Jamaz von LaF. Die habe ich mir gestern Abend angeschaut und die haben mich sehr beeindruckt. Kann sein, dass ich hier auch immer wieder den gleichen Satz sage mit interessant und cool und beeindruckend. Ich glaube, es ist auch so ein kleines bisschen das Momentum, in dem man steckt, wenn man hier in so eine andere Stadt kommt und dann so eintauchen kann in die Musikszene. Das ist jedes Mal wahnsinnig interessant, wahnsinnig beeindruckend, ja. Und die Leute nehme ich mit. Und ich habe Bock darauf, mit denen ein kleines bisschen über ihre Welt zu sprechen. Jetzt ist LaF eine Crew, die hier in Montreal schon lokale Bekanntheit hat, deren Streaming-Zahlen mitunter auch schon recht ordentlich sind. Ne? Also wir haben auch schon Songs mit Millionen Streams. Kommen auch aus dieser Stadt und repräsentieren diese Stadt. Und deswegen ist es natürlich klar, dass wenn ich die Chance habe, dann auch mal mit den beiden kurz zu sprechen. Jamaz und Bkay sollen eigentlich gleich hier auftauchen. It's so rainy, but you decided to meet here at this park. What kind of park is it?
It's a park that we used to come here when we were like younger to do ciphers.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it used to be a place like all the young MCs used to meet here and to rap.
So the
to chill, to
the start
smoke.
Of your career was here?
Yeah. A long time ago. But now it's mostly like comment tu dis, genre gentrifié. Gentrified. So it's more like people from the Plateau Montreal that comes here. A lot of families, and yeah, that's about it. But it's kind of an iconic park in Montreal.
In the history of hip hop of the city, I would say, is it right?
No, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that.
But in your legacy.
Yeah, of course.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Our story, yes.
But then I saw you on stage last night, and it was the first time I mentioned your crew, and I was really impressed about the power.
Yeah.
The power on stage, and also on the sounds and music. It was a new conquered a new artist for me, a favorite artist. I really liked it. Can you tell me your story? From your beginning to that moment when I first mentioned you guys. Too late, of course, but can you tell me? Yeah, long story short. Try it.
So basically, we're a bunch of friends. We all met like at the end of the college, so around 16, 17 years old. Some of us a bit before that. And when we entered CEGEP, which is like between college and university in Quebec, it's like a school thing that you do between those two to learn like where you want to go further. We all met in this area of our lives and we just started like making music together. There was all the ciphers in the parks that were going on, and there was like this big community of like bunch of kids just like making beats, some like doing graffiti or some just like writing a lot of rap music.
A real hip-hop
thing. It was really like we're all influenced by the older artists in the city like K6A or Dead Obies, LLA, a lot of like like maybe like a big brother generation of ours that were doing moves in the city and pushing the hip hop scene, and we wanted to be like a part of it. So
when was
with
this?
that, this was like around 2014, 15.
Yeah, cool.
And then we started making a project called La Famille, which is like the beginnings of LaF, our group now. And we're just a bunch of kids, like a bit, you know, like want to chill. Some of us didn't want to really put in the work, and some of us wanted to do that work. So it became like a closer circle, and we did a bunch of projects. So the first album we released was Monsieur Madame in 2016. After that, we released 2 EPs independently, and we did a contest, like a music contest in the city, which is called Les Francs Ouverts, and it's basically you go against different artists of different genres, and the winner gets to have like a bunch of prizes. And the goal of that contest is that a lot of people in the public is people from the industry, so you just put your stuff out there, and even if you don't win, you get a chance to like showcase your music and your craft. And a lot of people get signed by doing that. So after that contest that we won, we got signed by Disque 7e Ciel, which is our label. Then we dropped our first really like big album, if we can say that, which is called Citadel. That was in 2018, so 5 years ago. That was a lot of learning for us because, like, first, you know, we had some real budget behind the project and stuff, so it had an impact on growing our craft and become like more professional. And after that, we released one EP, Soit Entreprise, during COVID times, like a sunny vibe EP. The Citadel album was a bit like not pop, but more like a shiny in a type, like it was more of a sunny mood, you know, like guitars and more singing. Then the EP we released was in this same kind of mood, if we can say, like even lighter. And then we released this spring in 2023, we released a new album called Chrome, which took us 2 to 3 years almost to work on. And this one is a bit more dense. It's more darker in the artistic direction, and it's our biggest craft for the moment.
And how would you describe your impact on the scene here? Like you started like a group of young kids who were part of some kids who were rapping here in the park. Mm-hmm. It seems like you have big footsteps in the city. Are you representatives for hip hop from Montreal? Would you say that?
I would say that there's a lot of different scenes in the Montreal scene, and one thing that we achieve is to like build our sound. So clearly, like, we're one of the sound in Montreal.
Okay, that's cool.
And that's something that we are proud of. Like it's kind of a quest for us, like to find the sound that defines us. And I guess you saw it last night. Like there's as Jamaz said, really we have our like own craft. So yeah, and I think it's new for us to see like that we had an influence and an impact on the next generation. Like it's something that we saw like since the 2 last years, but how do we say that? Before COVID, we still felt like we were like the upcoming people. And
now 10 years later, you're
no, and like I don't know, like this mindset it never ends. Like we're not OGs yet, at all. So it's and we work with the younger generation too. Like we're interested in who's are the next MCs to pop in the city, and we listen to all the music that the people from Montreal are doing. So yeah,
I like the festival because it gives me a good overview, or maybe a slight view into the scene and into different types of. And what I've learned last year and this year too, it's a decision that you make to rap in English or in France.
Yes, kind of. Because it can influence a lot of the technical, like money decisions in a way. Because of the financing.
Yeah, and why you made your decision?
Oh, we're French people.
We're just French people,
Well,
so it makes sense for us to.
We don't speak that good in English.
Like
as
personally,
you
I
see.
was born in France, and I came here when I was 11 years old. So even if I try to rap in English, it doesn't feel right to me, in my sense, you know.
And being part of the scene here, the hip hop scene here in the city, do you see therefore maybe also a difference when you try to do it that way or that way? Is it even better to rap in France when you want to be part of the scene?
I think it's more
here?
difficult for English artists to get recognized by the media and
even like
the platforms.
The people from Montreal.
You know, I think like English artists from Montreal get more recognition from elsewhere than from here in a way. Not that people from Montreal don't appreciate them or don't listen to them, but I think it's easier for French artists here because of the way that the government built the fundings and stuff to be put in front. So sometimes you can see like some English projects that are crazy and that are booming, but nobody's like on the radio or on the media is gonna talk about them, you know. But the people in the city knows what's up.
Yeah.
But it's harder for them to.
But not like the big public. Like a good example is Planet Giza. I don't know if you know Planet Giza. It's a trio. I think they're all beat makers, and there's one MC, and they popped last year like big time in the USA and in the UK, and like in the big public in Montreal, people don't know them. Like the people that listens to Planet Giza really are like, I don't know, the scene, the Montreal.
Exactly. People that are already invested in the hip hop scene.
But like they're doing big numbers, and they were on Sway.
You know, they have a crazy sound, you know, it's really like
they're really genre, they could be like the best that came out from Montreal, and it's fucked up that I don't know, common people don't know who they are.
It's crazy.
And they're like superstars that are from here, and they, as we say, like comment tu dis, genre nul n'est prophète en son pays. It means like
nobody's a preacher in his own country. Would be the exact
but I know and understand what you mean. It's funny, even in Germany we have some producers who are huge in the US.
Exactly.
And nobody knows them in Germany. Maybe in the scene, of course, you know them, but nobody knows that this guy is responsible for this 10 platinum albums. And this is fun about today because you have the chance to go international with your music.
Exactly.
Doing your stuff and starting as LaF, this is more a local thing, right? Would you say? Is it about being from Montreal and making music for this area, or what is the plan?
For sure.
I love the rain, by the way.
And for sure. Like I don't know how to say that. Like the Oh, j'ai de la misère à parler en anglais. Sorry, I'm hangover.
No. I'm happy that you're here.
It's true that what we're seeing in the text and the lifestyle that we represent and like the people that can relate to us really are Montrealers.
Yeah.
And even the fact that like we mix, let's say, Quebec accent rap, a bit of English, Montreal slang. Jamaz has slightly more
French touch,
a French accent because he's from. He was born in France. Just this mix of all the different. Places that our music comes from really is a Montreal thing. I would say.
Yeah, definitely.
And you're coming from France to Montreal.
Yeah.
How you mentioned the scene and even the sound and even this typical Montreal thing. How you mentioned this. How was this for you to get into this?
Well, I was really young. I was 11 years old, so I wasn't really interested yet in that area of like I wasn't invested in music already. Okay. But growing up in Montreal in that way, the first thing that came up to me was that it was really diversified and that you had a lot of opportunities. I felt like it was like like anyone could come in and it's like open arms, like just do your thing. And of course it takes a lot of work, but I didn't feel at any particular time like the doors were closed for people to come and try to make their own music. In a sense, I felt that the Montreal scene was at that time it was really smaller than now.
Yeah.
But I still felt that something was getting built, and that there are place to. Yeah, we can go that way.
Yeah. Okay.
And we're big fans of French rap.
That would be my next question, because I've learned you are local heroes. You guys, you made a footprint here. The people know you. You're standing. That's what I saw when I saw the fans in front of the stage.
Yeah.
It's more than a showcase. It was like they were really fans.
Yeah,
they know all the lyrics, so it shows me. And even Sam from the label told me, you guys, you put something here on the map.
Yeah.
Period. You don't have to talk about it. That's not my thing. Take it. But this is one thing. But the market here is very small.
Yeah.
The area is very not that many people.
Yeah.
And that was my question with the language. Choosing French means, okay, what is the next step? What is the biggest goal? You can make a show in this Centre Bell maybe, or on a big festival, but you can also enter French market or make connection with the French scene. Is it a wish or a chance or goal to maybe to enter this market, this scene?
Yeah.
First, the French rap scene?
Yes and no. I mean, like, of course, it would be amazing for us to have the opportunity to do it. Me as a French person, I would love to, like, I always dreamed about exporting my music to France, but I don't know if it's like an exact goal to like specifically go there. I think it's maybe we're more waiting for an opportunity to make sense with us in a way that it's like that it's more a natural connection than us pushing too much for it. But I think you still have to push a bit to go make these next steps. But I think we're all down with like exploring that way. We've been talking about it a little bit in the last few years, and we've had like some small opportunities, but that didn't work for now. But it would be amazing for sure, yeah.
And there's a lot of people from Montreal that tries to like break through the French market, and it's difficult because there's so much offers there. Like you said, here it's a small market, and there it's a big market, and I don't know, like everyone knows how to rap in France. So and everyone is actually like, even the people that aren't good are actually a little bit good, you know. Like everyone knows how to rap like nicely. So it's a big scene, and it's a difficult thing to really stand out in this kind of scene. And I'm sure that we have something, and we have a sound that would interest like French people and Belgian people and Swiss people, but you know, it's kind of we and what can I say? Even in Quebec, we're not, like you said, we like we did our mark in Montreal and all that, but like you see in the rest of Quebec, we're really not that big. No. There's artists from Quebec that really are way bigger than us.
Yeah.
Like so.
But do you have any goals for now for your crew? Any things, any future plans? Anything that is maybe important for you as a crew?
Like, what are the next steps?
Yeah.
That's a good question. I think like where we are now, we feel more like we have to do the next music to see what we want to do with it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like we did a lot of shows. We did a whole rollout on the last album, and we're still defending it. And as Jamaz said, it's more of a the last album is more genre niche.
It's more. I think you can say niche in English.
Yeah,
it's more niche.
It's more niche. And so we knew it would not have like the
same
the same
impact.
exposure that the last album that we released. So we're in this space like we need to create the next thing to know what we want to do with it.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
It's like music come first.
We haven't
With the
created new music
decide-
yet, actually, since
we
the
decide
last
what
release.
we want to do with it. So it's difficult to say, okay, let's go like in France and blah blah. If we don't know what we want to defend in France, like the first thing we have to do is to work on the music, on the next music, on the like everything starts from the craft, you know.
Exactly, and
Yeah.
there's like a lot of really nice artists that we admire and that we follow in France and other French-speaking areas in Europe that we would love to collaborate with, and maybe on the next project that could be something that we go for. We tried a bit for the Chrome album, the last album we released, to do that, but didn't work out for this one. But we're open, like really open to that kind of stuff.
The thing is, as I saw your show last night, there was a great energy on stage. So I'm sure when people can watch your show, then they say, okay, we have to work with these guys.
Yeah, for sure, exactly.
Have you ever played any shows in Europe?
No.
Not yet, no.
But is there any chance or any plan for this?
Yes, there's chances. We have like 2 offers in the last few years to go to France, but it just didn't work out because of life, of technicalities. But we're trying to make contacts with bookers and like trying to develop.
We were at M for Montreal for this. You know?
This is
Exactly,
my last
that's
question.
the goal of the show, actually.
Yeah, that was the goal of the show, like to showcase it in front of people that are not from.
And now
Montreal.
we're walking in the park with you, so I guess it's working a bit.
But I had enough rain for now, I would say. But I have to say thank you, and I'm really
thanks,
I was really impressed
Thank
of
you
your
very
show.
Yeah.
And I wish you all the good luck. So maybe, and I hope we will see us maybe in Germany, because
that
people.
It would be a pleasure.
Ja, people have to listen. Hört bitte rein, Leute. Es ist mir eine Herzensangelegenheit und vor allem ist es harte Arbeit, hier durch den Regen zu gehen und ein Interview zu machen. Deswegen show some love für LaF.
Yeah, man.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Da soll noch meiner sagen, ich leiste hier nicht vollen Einsatz. Ne? Ich glaube, ich bin durch, aber ich mache weiter. Das war LaF, das waren Bkay und Jamaz und ey, beides richtig gute Typen. Ich wiederhole mich, es tut mir leid, aber es ist so. War richtig schön, hat Spaß gemacht. LaF ist auf jeden Fall auch eine der nächsten Empfehlungen, die ich mitnehme, die ich auf jeden Fall euch auch ans Herz legen würde, mal reinzuhören. Ich glaube, da sind ein paar ganz gute Sachen dabei. Ich bin auf jeden Fall weiter auf meinem kleinen Hype-Train hier durch Montreal. Bin jetzt auch noch weiter verabredet. Treffe mich jetzt mit dem nächsten Artist. Sein Name ist Prinz Amine. Auch Künstler aus Montreal, in jungen Jahren auch mal in Spanien gelebt und ebenso Teil von Montreal. Can you tell me and maybe the people watching this your story?
Well,
you also lived some time in Spain.
yeah. I grew up in Spain, in Marbella.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah. So in the south of Spain, I grew up in Morocco. My mom's Moroccan, but my dad is actually from Antigua, which is in the Caribbean.
Yeah.
But he grew up in the States, so that's why I like the English and all of that. And my first language, yeah.
And what brought you to Montreal?
My dad actually he came to Canada first to get his pilot's license, so he went to school here.
Yeah.
And that's how he like came to live in Montreal. But the class wasn't in Montreal, but he came initially here. And we were in Spain at the time, and then he just ups and tells me, let's go to Canada for like education. So me, my sister, my dad, we went. My mom was still in Morocco at the time, and now the whole family came a few years later.
Yeah.
And it's here where I learned French, actually.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's even interesting. But how was it for you to be a musician in Montreal? And this,
How is it? It's a good question.
yeah, I've learned something. I can
Yeah.
because even it's bilingual and it's a decision if you do your stuff, you're rapping in English or in French.
Yeah.
It's also for me it seems a very multicultural city.
Yeah. It is.
Many influences. And
Yeah,
that's what
it's
I
true.
like.
It is true.
But how was it for you to start your career here?
Honestly, starting off, it was kind of tough because I did it in English and.
That's
Yes,
not easy
Canada's.
here,
Yeah,
right?
no. In Montreal, no, it's a lot more French. Like a lot of people listen to the French artists. You know what I mean? Especially like where I grew up in LaSalle. Shout out to LaSalle. Where I grew up in LaSalle, Montreal. It's an in between. But what dominates the most and what brings people's attention is the French artist, the French music. So it's like, okay, he's doing English, it's different. But that's the thing, at the end of the day, everyone listens to English music, you feel me? But like the big artists here, they're French, you know? Like almost all of them, you know? And so I just kept breaking through. But the thing is my style was very different. Because me growing up, music, I listened to Motown, R&B, soul, hip-hop, and I always had a passion for like giving actual shows, like presentations, live performances, you know? So that's why it brought me up to another level, and I started opening up for other people, and people would see it and they'd be like, wow, this is different. And so that's how it broke through a bit in Montreal for me, in the English scene and everything. So yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
It looks like you want to go the international way.
Yes, sir.
And what you're doing and the kind of music is even different. Yeah, you have Afrobeat influences too right now.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because it's like a wave coming all over the world.
Yeah.
And we had a big wave in Germany a couple of years ago, starting from France, coming to Germany. But it looks like here it's not that popular. What is? How do you make your decisions? What are the influences for your music?
Honestly, I study a lot. I pay attention to like every single genre. I listen to different types of artists, and I would listen to the underground ones, not just the popular people. I'd listen to the underground because it's raw. You know, it's that's easy. The raw ones, and like the underground ones have so much talent. It's incredible, you know. And I would listen to their sound, what they speak about, and I would also pay attention to the production, especially the production. It's like what makes this music so unique? What makes it like so groovy and everything? And I would sit down, listen to all types of styles, and I would pay attention to it, and I would mold everything together and still bring it into my style, into what I grew up to, you know? So I always give it my touch at the end of the day, but a lot of people, I get inspired by a lot of artists. A hell of a lot,
Yeah, what I like, and even coming from Europe, from Germany, I think you have to be a little bit quiet talking about music coming from Africa, because it's such a huge continent, so many influences. I was there a couple of times and realizing, okay, this is so big, and this sound is so unique, and that sound is so unique. You're coming from Morocco. What do you say? How much of this part of your life is influence? Does have influence on your music, or is it more the international thing that you mixed up everything you see?
Well, the Moroccan part, honestly, like I haven't really tapped into getting into like an Arabic sound. I would probably sing in Arabic, say a couple of things. But honestly, it's just that the Moroccan part is my identity at the end of the day, you know. And like I represent it with all my heart, all my love, you know. It's my mom who's from there, so with the utmost respect and love, I represent the country for sure. But I know further on in life, I would want to collaborate with other Moroccan artists, and also like have that traditional sound in the back and still give it that twist.
And that's what I like, and that's what it even could make even more unique. And coming from the living in Spain is also completely different. So I think here also you have so many influences. Being a part of Montreal, is it also being a part of the hip-hop scene for you?
Yeah, because it has its own identity. It has its own sound, to be honest. It's very different, and here a lot of people it's a melting pot, right? So you have different cultures and different sounds, different slangs, you know what I mean? And that's what's beautiful about Montreal, is the multiculturalism that's here. Yeah, that makes it rich, Do
you have any plans with your music?
Yeah,
of course,
the Grammys, for sure. I want to be an international artist for sure. Which is world tours and everything, and just the big leagues for sure. And I want to work with a lot of people, and I want to do other things outside from music, obviously. But I feel like music is what's gonna make me able and give me the ability to do such thing.
And do you think it's tough to do it from Canada from Montreal, or?
Honestly, anything is possible. Anything, like
I like this mindset.
Yeah, anything is possible. I've seen people from literally buttfuck nowhere make it. You know what I mean? And like they have crazier stories than me. You know what I mean? Like they're like on the streets and all of that. Like Ed Sheeran, he was homeless when he was in LA. You know what I mean? Stories like that. So it's like, I could do it. Anything's possible.
And what gives you the power for that? Because it could be a long way, and even, being unique is one thing. But making it out of this group of
It's
thousands of artists is even a tough way.
it's just your willpower and like your work ethic. That has a lot to. You can have talent, but if you don't work, you don't network with people, you don't go out there and put yourself out there, you're never gonna go anywhere. So you could be the greatest singer of all time, and nobody's gonna ever give you those flowers. You know.
That's even the reason why it's quite good to be part of something like M for Montreal, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was So when I was asked to perform here, I was like, oh, let's do it. You know. Yeah. So I'm gonna give a crazy show tonight.
I am very excited to see. Again, if somebody doesn't know what you're doing on stage, or what is the core of your music, how would you describe it at the end?
Okay, so on stage, let's say you take a sprinkle of James Brown, you take a sprinkle of Michael Jackson, you take a sprinkle of Chris Brown, and you put it all together. Okay, and then when it comes to the music, you have all types of things. You have your hip hop, your old school hip hop, your new school hip hop, lyricism. I'm not saying any bullshit when I'm rapping. You know, that's one thing. The music, you got the groove, you got the vibe, you got the entertainment. You know what I mean? You feel like you are a part of the show, and that's the most important part when you come visit.
That's interesting because that's even all the things I've learned, that I would say I've felt when I listened to your music on Spotify and streaming. Yeah. But I'm happy to see it tonight.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for your time.
Much love, huh? I appreciate it.
It sounds like I'm sure we will see us again. So
yes, for sure. Thank you. I appreciate it. More life.
Hört rein. Jedes Mal, wenn ich aus dem Gespräch rausgehe, fange ich an mit den Worten, das war spannend, das ist ein interessanter Künstler und sowas alles, ne? Und es stimmt einfach, Leute, wenn ihr das hier mitmachen würdet, ich hoffe, ich bringe euch ein bisschen diesen Vibe mit. Das sind alles sehr schön inspirierende Menschen, die auf jeden Fall auch auf einem unterschiedlichen Karrierestandpunkt sind, aber alle mit voller Energie. Und das ist ja auch der Grund, warum wir so ein bisschen Teil von diesem Festival sind, ne? Prinz Amine hat noch so eine kleine Prise mehr von, wie soll ich das beschreiben, dieses Gefühl von, wie du mit Menschen umgehst, wie du in Gespräche gehst. Wir haben uns noch nie gesehen. Ich habe jetzt 10 Minuten mit ihm gesprochen und ich habe das Gefühl, wir sind auf jeden Fall sehr, sehr gute Buddies. Und wir werden uns wiedersehen. Und wir werden auf jeden Fall bestimmt von ihm noch irgendwas hören. Denn der hat das Appeal, das du brauchst, um mehr aus dem zu machen. Es gibt noch ein letztes Gespräch, das ich hier in Montreal jetzt führen werde. Mit einer Crew, die gar nicht aus Montreal kommt. Die heißen Cartel Madras. Cartel Madras, mal gucken, wo die Betonung liegt. Lerne ich gleich sicher wieder. Das ist eine Female Crew. Ich würde sagen Female Rap Crew, auf jeden Fall gehören sie mit dazu, obwohl da auch viel Gesang dabei ist, viele Einflüsse und eben aus Calgary, also von der anderen Seite Kanadas. Wir haben gefragt, ob wir uns unterhalten können, haben sie gesagt ja, deswegen freue ich mich darauf, gleich mal drüber zu sprechen. Ein kleines Disclaimer, aber im Allgemeinen mal vorweg, auch bei der Auswahl der Künstler und Künstlerinnen. Nicht, dass hier irgendjemand denkt, wir wählen aus und weil ich natürlich ziemlich viele männliche Artists hier dabei habe diesmal wieder. Das passiert eher automatisch und organisch, denn rund um so ein Festival haben wir natürlich die Möglichkeit dann anzufragen und das fragen wir dann bei, ich glaube dieses Jahr auch wieder 10, 15 Künstlern und Künstlerinnen an und die antworten, die Bock haben, die auch Interesse daran haben, uns hier so ein kleines bisschen ihre Geschichte zu erzählen, das sind dann die zusammen in diese Runde und in dieses Video kommen. Thank you for your time, of course.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You have to tell me the story of your group, because I've learned you originally came from you're from Calgary, but we are now here on a festival in Montreal called M for Montreal.
Yeah.
Why are you here?
We're here to play. We're headlining the Consequence of Sound night tomorrow, Saturday, and we're here, to play that show, and then go back. Like, I go back to Toronto. The other half of us goes back to Calgary. And
this is also a story. You told me you're living in Toronto, right?
Yeah.
And you also, is it right, you had spent some time in Montreal too?
Yes, we had tried some time in Montreal. I'm trying to remember what year it was, but it was like 4-ish years ago. We spent like a couple months here because, Montreal, super affordable, lots of creatives live here. And it was when we had like sort of first left Calgary that I was like, okay, let's see the scene in Montreal. We ended up living like really far in the suburbs, which was fine, but it wasn't really like where we wanted to live in terms of like the city. And it didn't like give us access to sort of like the specific things that we wanted to be around frequently. And by that time, we had done a couple shows in Montreal, and we really liked performing here. But living here didn't really work out, so I went back to Toronto, and then I've been living in Toronto since then. And so we kind of, because we do a lot of film production work, we kind of go back and forth a lot between Alberta and Ontario. And more recently, we were just in LA, California, to shoot something. And we kind of like end up traveling a lot anyways.
Yeah.
So people are usually asking, like, how do you make music when one of you lives in this city and one of you lives in that city? And it's like, well, we work remote. We're remote workers. And then when we need to record or shoot a music video or something, we'll make time to like link up with each other. And then of course, when we're like doing shows and touring, we just do that as a part of the itinerary of where the travel is. And yeah, like originally, like we both grew up in Calgary, but we were both born in Chennai in India. And we moved to Calgary when we were really young. And growing up in Calgary was like funny, is how I would describe it. Very funny place.
Why is it funny?
It's like, it's a place where it's known for being very conservative and pretty old school. It's a very conservative cowboy place. Alberta is known for the Stampede. It's known for being really cold and also just like having a deep political strand that we've always kind of been against and don't really agree with.
Yeah.
That being said, it's also a place that has like a lot of diversity, a lot of artists. So when we were growing up, we were surrounded by people from everywhere that had also immigrated there when they were really young or their parents had. And being in Calgary was interesting because like you don't really see or feel how much the conservatism is a part of the culture there till you start talking to some of the people. And when you're really young, it's the adults that really make it clear to you that it's like, oh, it's kind of racist here. And
but this was the foundation of your crew?
Yeah, like, because all of us, like Cartel Madras and all of our foreigners team, we're all like not really. We've had a really great opportunity to make things happen in that city and in that province. And the art scene there is always really working to entrench itself even further in being progressive, opening doors for people from everywhere and all walks of life. And we had to, you know, push for a lot of things when we were starting because we were a little like unexpected in that scene.
Yeah.
Like two immigrant women that are rapping in a crazy way, and our shows are really off the charts and really intense, and every venue we're performing in, we turn it into like a pretty intense show that at that time was like a little unexpected, a little bit new. And I think we sort of carved out a lane for ourselves and had to, because we grew up in that place. We were always different, and we were always like, well, we're not going to change who we are. We're not going to like make ourselves quiet just so that we can fit in and live here comfortably. We're going to try to be authentic and try to live life the way we want to and express our music identity in the way that feels the most true to us.
Talking about music industry in Canada, I've learned something about the industry here because of this bilingual part of Canada. It's for artists to make a decision between rapping in French or in English. Coming from Calgary or Toronto, and it's your native language, so there was no question about this. But is it then easier to start a career in Canada when you're rapping on English?
I would say that there are I'd say there's strong lanes that have been carved out for both Anglophone and Francophone rappers. And I think that's because, like, there has been a huge rise in the international Francophone rap scene. Yeah. Like, we see so many, like, rappers and hip-hop artists from France, like, doing extremely well and being able to, like, export their music out. So I think that kind of, like, gives room for this particular French-speaking province, Quebec, to be a part of that international conversation. Yeah. And then in terms of, like, the Anglophone community, well, a lot of people in Canada are also, like, bilingual, so they can do both English and French. Yeah. And we know some rappers that do that, and it's working out for them to the level at which it does. I can't say I know personally if there's a lane that is going to be more fruitful financially or in terms of where your fans are. But I think like, if you're good, people will find you.
Yeah, that's something I've learned even of course, this is all over the world the same.
Like, if you're doing something exciting and it sounds good and people are resonating with it, the language that you're rapping in matters to those that speak it and understand what you're saying. But also, like, I listen to rap music from, like, people speaking Japanese. I don't speak Japanese, but I've heard...
You felt the power.
Yeah, I felt it. Like, I've heard really intense rap from people speaking Russian. I don't speak Russian, but the rap was awesome. You know what I mean? Yeah. And, like, I feel like if you're able to, like, dig deep into, like, if you try to understand a little bit more about, like, the artists that you're enjoying, whose language you don't speak, you'll easily find the capacity to like them and enjoy music that you don't understand right away. But that's the thing, like, music is a universal language. We all understand it, even if we don't speak that language.
It's about vibe, I would say.
Yeah.
What was the idea of your crew of Cartel Madras? Was it to give something unique to the scene here in Canada, or was it just to express yourself in the way you want to live?
Well, to start it off was very organic expression. Like, we've been writing music forever, and we've been specifically, like, writing rap since we were really young. And when we started Cartel Madras, it was like quite a few years into us already, you know, making music in our rooms, going to a lot of shows, and being sort of like true music lovers and participants of the arts, and making the switch from just like, oh, we're uploading stuff onto SoundCloud, to now we're doing our first show, to now we're doing shows every weekend and we're getting booked all the time, to then like putting out a project, getting signed, all of those things. Like, the steps there, a little bit unconventional for us, I would say, but you know, it tends to be, I think. If you feel like you've got a good thing going and it's strong and you're able to like sort of see what it's doing, even without seeing like a path for it. Because sometimes I feel like artists are like, is it going to be good? Am I going to get numbers? Are people going to come to my shows? Like, they're really like, it's good to be focused and it's good to ask yourself those questions. But like, when we first started, the questions we were asking was, honestly, does this sound good? Are we enjoying ourselves? Are we having a party going on at our shows? Because that's what we wanted. We wanted people to come to our shows and like get fucked up and act crazy.
It's funny, it's so simple, but it's the main question you have to ask yourself when you're doing music.
Yeah, it's like, do you like this? Like, I see so many fellow artists like sometimes really struggling with the aspects of it that they don't like, which to so many different artists looks different, right? Like, it's like one artist hates the social media side of things. One artist hates performing live. One artist loves performing, but just can't get into the studio because they just can't focus. And I think like there's a real diversity of the issues that artists face. And a huge part of that is also based on, like, you know, can they afford to do certain things at certain times? And when we first started, we just loved performing. Our entire ethos was sort of based around doing live shows and testing out a lot of new music with an audience, which is funny because it's different than, I would say, a traditional approach sometimes. Our first two projects, we got to test out basically in their entirety to a live audience before we recorded it. So we got to cut out a lot of tracks that we were like, yeah, they didn't get lit to that.
Yeah, but it's cool.
Yeah, it's great. It worked out. But then for our most recent project, The Serpent and the Tiger, which is like, you know, our most developed project, our longest one, and our favorite, that was a pandemic era project. So most of those tracks we didn't get to test out live.
Yeah, okay.
We just had to trust ourselves.
Yeah. It's different then.
It's very different. And I think it paid off in some ways because we really did get to explore our influences and our story and be very honest with, you know, the sonic pathways we were pursuing, the aesthetic choices we were making. And it was very different for us. And I think, obviously, it's our favorite project. So I have a good opinion of it and a good opinion of the process that went into it. But also, you know, we had just completed a bunch of touring. We were on the brink of getting a little bit burnt out from that end of things. And then we just had time and quiet.
Yeah.
And of course, like, you know, the privilege of time and quiet, because that was a chaotic time for a lot of people. And so during, like, that pandemic era, we were like, let's really think about the music here. And let's really make something very meaningful that articulates what we're trying to do.
Did you have any role models for what you're doing? Because when I was listening to your music, I really had the same feeling that, okay, this is different. It plays with a lot of things that I can see now in the rap scene, but not in the complete way. Then you mix it up in a different way. So, but did you have any role models, or is this something that you was looking up to?
Yeah, I would say we definitely have, like, our artistic influences. Role models is an interesting word because I don't think I would I simply can't describe someone I don't know as a role model. You know what I mean?
I go absolutely with you.
Yeah, because it's just such a big responsibility to put on someone who, if you meet, might fundamentally disappoint you.
Let's talk about influence. Maybe it's better.
But yeah, in terms of, like, the people that we listen to and the people that, you know, you can really probably hear in some of our stuff. Obviously, we're, you know, huge fans of Azealia Banks, JPEG Mafia, Danny Brown, Open Mike Eagle. Like, I can list off so many artists that, like, we listen to before and after making some of our biggest things. Cakes to Killa always being one that we talk about a lot. And I would say, like, so much of the real influence of what went into our process of songwriting and our process of recording was going to the shows of artists that we really love and being able to, like, experience what their live show was like. For example, the year before we started Cartel Madras, we saw Freddie Gibbs play live, and it was our second time seeing him live. And, you know, we've always described Freddie Gibbs as someone that is a huge influence on our sound and our approach. And so seeing that live is really great to do when you're in that music making headspace. And yeah, because I feel like it's also really hard for some people to listen to us and gauge where some of the influence is coming from, because they're like, oh, it's two women of course Freddie Gibbs wouldn't inspire them. And it's like, sure, you can think that, but that's what it is.
Yeah, that's interesting. Did you see, I don't know, did you have any fights in the industry?
I would say, yeah, there's been some, strong moments of contention and conflict where people expect something or want something, and we simply cannot operate with an attempt to put us in a box, which I don't think very many artists do either. They're like, please don't try and do that with me. I'm trying to make art here, and I would rather you not.
Yeah, but for some reasons, maybe artists thinking, okay, let's go that way. Maybe it's successful, but it is a fight with their own identity.
Yeah, 100%. I would say, especially because we're women, we're queer, we're in this industry, that so many people want to see us a certain way and expect certain things from us. And when we subvert that expectation, a lot of people are very upset by that. And those that are, not just open-minded, but people that like artists and people that like music, they can see, they're like, oh yeah, well, you can have the freedom to figure out what you're doing because you're still making music. You're starting fresh. You're trying new things. We're very experimental. And I think the people that can identify that have a very easy time understanding that we're going to keep experimenting. And the ones that are like, oh, we just thought you fully switched to like hot girl rap. And it's like, no, we're still going to do like radical rap too. And we're still going to do this too. And we're still going to do that. And
is it easy or tough to be so experimental in your music? That maybe from time to time to get more access, it's even easier to get a stamp on your head.
Absolutely. Like people want to see, especially if something has done well, people want to see you chase that down.
Let's go that way.
Yeah, they're like, oh, now they're gonna sound like that forever.
Okay, that's the holy cow.
Yeah.
But of course, I'm from Germany. I'm trying to introduce you to guys maybe in Germany who can maybe find out that they have to listen to your music, of course. But when you try to put it down into two sentences, what is Cartel Madras standing for? What would you say? Yeah. I know it's experimental. I know it's not allowed to put you in a box.
Yeah.
It's wild. it's female power. Yeah. Rap, self-confidence.
It's still fun. You know what I mean?
And that's the most important thing.
Yeah, it's the most important thing with music is that like it's still fun. It's fun to listen to. It's fun to watch live. It's fun for us to make. And like, even if you can't come to a Cartel Madras show, when you're listening to Cartel Madras, we want you to experience that.
Yeah.
The atmosphere, the energy, the way we perform is in our music too. And if you're listening with those ears open like that, you'll really understand what we're all about, which is like, it's fun, it's fiery, it's radical, it's racy, it's hot, it's queer, it's angry, and it's like the freedom to be who we are and make music the way we've always wanted to.
And that's what I understood when I tried to figure out who you are and what kind of music you're making. And the thing is, you also have been in Germany with your music, is it right?
Yes.
How was that experience?
It was so fantastic. So fantastic. So we performed in Berlin and Hamburg, and both places we performed at, absolutely full house, absolutely incredible audiences, both places, so fun. The people were really there to party. Some people knew our lyrics and we were like, that's amazing. We love that. But the shows we've done in Berlin and Hamburg were such standout shows from the past year that, immediately we were like, we want to come back. We want to do more here. It's been a little difficult before because we were supposed to come, but then the pandemic happened. But being able to come in 2022 and perform twice in Germany in that year was absolutely fantastic. Like, we loved it. The people were amazing.
Oh, it's good to know.
Yeah.
It's good to, but I can imagine, I've never been to your show, but it sounds like really a special thing, a special experience that even if you don't know your lyrics, you don't know who you are.
Yes.
I can get something.
Absolutely. Like, we want everyone that comes to our show to like have as much fun as anyone that like specifically bought tickets to see us.
Yeah.
Because it's like, we still kind of maintain the same ethos that we did when we started, which is like, if you don't know who Cartel Madras is and you come to one of our shows, we're gonna win you over.
Yeah, okay.
And we still, you know, we've been in the game for a little bit longer. We're still pretty new, but we still believe in that.
And do you have any goals?
Yeah, so many goals. So many goals.
And it sounds like I'm quite impressed because I'm feeling you're very focused on what you're doing there. What is the main goal you have?
It's a good question because, you know, my standard answer to that is, specifically in relation to Cartel Madras, is to continue to make music that challenges us, that excites us, and that puts us on the map. And, you know,
that's okay, but that's not the real goal.
But the real goal is, you know, having people think about us in the same way that they would some really important, timeless music pioneers. Like, coming from Calgary, it doesn't really seem like that's an option, but at the same time, it's like, we are doing something different. We're taking this shit to India this year for the first time. We're just gonna keep doing this and keep like pushing the boundaries of what our music looks like and what like we want music to look like in general. So I'd say short-term goal, finish our upcoming album, make it really, really good, and have people fuck with it. Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
I like this.
Period.
It was a pleasure, really. And I hope we can see us sometime in Germany again.
Yes, absolutely.
I cannot see your show tomorrow because I leave today.
Yeah.
But you're playing here also in this program of M for Montreal. What would you say? How important are these festivals for artists?
They're super important. Like, I think stuff like this is great because it gets a lot of industry people into the rooms of like developing acts. And like for us, we're still a developing act, absolutely. And we've had, you know, the good fortune to do other festivals that aren't considered showcase festivals. So it's just a lot of like organic audience. But festivals and conferences like this that gets industry people in the room, people make a lot of moves after seeing people perform in places like this. We know firsthand that performing at stuff like this and really like putting your best foot forward, it makes an impact. People remember who you are. People want to book you in the future. People want to work with you. And like having a really diverse range of artists perform at things like this is also so important because, you know, industry people need to see how diverse the industry actually is.
Yeah. And I'm sure we'll see you on a festival somehow in Germany or maybe in Europe within the next years.
100%.
I'm quite sure.
100%.
And we see us then. Thank you for your time.
And then we'll link up.
Das war Cartel Madras und das ist, glaube ich, auch eine dieser Artists, also die beiden zusammen als Cartel Madras, von denen ich mir ziemlich sicher bin, dass sie irgendwann in Europa auf irgendwelchen Festivals auftauchen oder in irgendeinem anderen Kontext stattfinden. Denn dafür ist das zu unique, zu wild, zu anders. Und trotzdem, und das hast du jetzt hier eben auch wieder gemerkt, als du zugehört hast, also da ist Plan dahinter, da ist auch ein künstlerischer Anspruch dahinter. Also Cartel Madras ist der nächste Name, den ich euch auf die Liste setze, wenn ihr bis hierhin hingeguckt habt, den ihr euch unbedingt merken müsst und auch mal anhören solltet. Und damit war es das auch für mich hier von diesem Festival. M for Montreal 2023. Ich hatte wieder sehr viel Spaß. Ich kann an der Stelle Danke sagen, dass ich hier immer eingeladen werde und solche Sachen machen kann. Ich habe interessante Künstler und Künstlerinnen kennengelernt. Ich habe dieses Jahr ja auch, also wenn ihr das Video vom letzten Jahr schon kennt, nochmal einen anderen Einblick in die Szene bekommen, was auch total spannend war. Und es ist wie immer für mich, wenn ich so eine Reise mache und dann am Ende hier das alles ein bisschen verarbeite, Revue passieren lasse, unheimlich interessant, welche Strömungen ich sehe, wie die Märkte funktionieren und wie sehr man das auch vielleicht so auf den deutschen Markt adaptieren kann. Angefangen bei Sounds, der Art und Weise, wie Künstler hier Mucke machen, über die Art und Weise, wie sie ihr Business machen müssen, über die Größe der Szene. Es gibt so viele schöne Verknüpfungspunkte zu Dingen, die ich in anderen Ländern gesehen habe, dass ich auf jeden Fall ehrlich sagen muss, ich bin so ein bisschen zu einem Freund dieser Szene hier geworden. Und ich hoffe, es war nicht das letzte Mal, dass ich hier war, denn irgendwie habe ich Lust, weiterhin Geschichten von der Hip-Hop-Szene in Montreal und in Kanada zu erzählen. Jetzt bin ich hier aber raus. Schön, dass ihr dabei gewesen seid. Ich hoffe, ihr hattet sehr viel Spaß. Ich bin mir ziemlich sicher, dass mein Team auch die Playlist quasi zu dieser Reise hier mit zur Verfügung stellt. Die können wir auf jeden Fall verlinken. Denn ihr solltet auch mal reinhören in die Künstler, die ich hier besucht und getroffen habe. Und vielleicht ist da irgendwas für euch dabei. In diesem Sinne, macht's gut. Schöne Grüße aus Montreal. Bis zum nächsten Mal. Backspin.